It's KSL News Radio,
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
9 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Tim Hughes with a quick look at our top story this hour. Police body cam footage shows the moment a man was arrested after he reportedly shot at an Amazon semi-truck driver. The Amazon driver claims a car nearly ran them off the road before the man inside challenged him to a fight. The driver pepper sprayed the men, and Tyler Joshua Fouts shot at the truck. He and his brother, who was also in the car, were both sentenced to 2 years to 3 to 5 years in prison. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, former reporter and Trump ally Kari Lake has been named to a spot in the new administration.
Kari Lake is a former local TV anchor turned staunch election denier, and she ran and lost Senate and governor races in Arizona. She's also viciously attacked the press despite being a former reporter herself. Now, Donald Trump has been criticized in the past for trying to turn Voice of America, a federally funded outlet, into a pro-Trump news service, and he did in his announcement hint that Lake, a loyalist, could help reshape its coverage.
ABC's chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce reporting President Joe Biden commuting the sentences of roughly 1,500 people who were released from prison and placed on home confinement during the coronavirus pandemic. He's also pardoning 39 Americans convicted of nonviolent crimes. Your money at this moment, we're in the red, but we have made up some of the lost ground from earlier. We're down 42 points on the Dow, under 10 points on the S&P, and now off 37 on the NASDAQ. Coming up, not one, but two storms, if you can call them that, coming for the weekend. Slight chance we'll get some snow in the valleys. We'll check it all next. KSL News Time, 9:02.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
The holiday season is upon us, and sometimes when I start talking about Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, I talk about all of the wonderful things we do around it, like skiing and going to concerts and movies and holiday shopping. I want to spend a little time talking about the amazing food that awaits you at Ruth's Chris. First of all, when you walk through the doors, either in Park City or downtown, the way you're treated, the way the waitstaff takes care of you, the presentation of the food, it is simply remarkable. And the taste is out of this world. I savor, I wait for, I anticipate that very first bite of my steak at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. And of course, I always talk about the steaks, but the other entrees are delicious as well, whether it's seafood or poultry. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse is beyond compare. And for heaven's sake, save room for dessert. The best dining experience. It's awaiting you at Ruth's Chris.
It's a new chapter for energy in your community. Dominion Energy is now Enbridge Gas in Utah, Wyoming, and Idaho. With 175 years experience delivering reliable energy, we're pleased to welcome customers formerly served by Dominion Energy to our Enbridge family. While the name of your gas company has changed, we remain your first choice for affordable natural gas. For more information, visit enbridgegas.com. That's ENBRIDGE gas.com. Tomorrow is on.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
At Common Spirit Health, we know that lifelong health and well-being starts with primary care. So we have doctors and providers who see you, hear you, know you, and understand you. Because understanding you means understanding your needs. And that leads to a deeper knowledge of the prevention, wellness, and treatment options that may be best for you. It's primary care that treats your whole family like family. It's primary care with human kindness. Discover all the ways you can find and connect with a primary care provider at mountain.commonspirit.org.
We got emergency traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair. Save on every gallon with the DinoPay app. Jason's still a problem, huh? That's not Jason. It's Heather Kelly.
That's all right. The big delays are actually on SR 36 in Tooele County from Mill Junctions trying to join on to I-80. It's due to a crash before you get to the 201 freeway merge. And the crash itself is over on the right shoulder. Traffic's starting to move a little bit better, but it's going to take time for these delays to clear out. The rest of your commute throughout the Wasatch Front is in pretty good shape, although we have some unusual slowdowns now northbound I-15 in Utah County, and that is through American Fork. We may have a crash in that area. Get started on your dream kitchen or bath countertops with special financing from Bedrock Quartz for up to 18 months. Visit bedrockquartz.com for details. That's bedrockquartz.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
47 eventually for a high this afternoon. We'll have these clouds on and off again throughout most of the day. Those clouds going to bring about a 30% chance of showers tomorrow. And hopefully more than just a little bit to the mountains. We'll keep an eye on it for you. But right now, 32 degrees. From the KSL Common Spirit Hill Studios, I'm Tim Hughes. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Dave and I have been watching body camera footage of from the Unified Police Department this morning, and it's over this road rage shooting and then high-speed pursuit. Now, this whole thing went down a year ago, so you're probably like, why are you looking at it now? Well, the cops just released, we just got our hands on this video yesterday afternoon. It is absolutely wild what happened on the streets of Mill Creek. I will also say this speaks to my growing concerns as a driver on this road, where I'm actually to the point where I'm fearful, Dave. I make one wrong move on the road, and that's the last move you'll ever see me make because of how other drivers are bringing guns with them.
Yeah, it's so much more common than we realize. I have some stats about how often it is that Utahns own a firearm. The chances of you encountering someone that owns a firearm are incredible. We'll break that down. It's 9:07. It's time for the launch.
Sequence engaged.
And here are 3 things that Debbie wants you to know.
Countdown. 3.
I'm going to sound like a little bit of a broken record here because we've talked about this, what do you think, a dozen times on this show?
Oh, for sure.
In the last
It's because
several years.
We're not letting it go until it happens. We're going to will it into existence.
So we're going to talk about a push again in Congress to end daylight savings time. Daylight saving time. There's no S on the end of saving. Okay, it's saving time. Washington Post reporting the U.S. could soon push to get rid of daylight saving time. And then they go on to say, if that happens, you could end up with some unexpected daylight extremes. And then they give a map, an interactive map. And I like, Dave, it's time for the show. Stop playing around with the interactive map. What did you find?
I'm totally playing with the map.
Didn't you say we'd be like in darkness for days if this happens?
The earliest, so if we just stayed where we're at right now, which is standard time, the earliest we would have sunset, 4:54. Are you ready for sunset to be at 4:54 before you even clock out?
Countdown. 2.
So I caught this story this morning on Business Insider, and my jaw dropped. I just don't understand how this happens. Actor Jim Carrey is coming out of retirement. Oh, okay. But you might be like, oh, okay. I mean, did he retire? I didn't even know. Yeah, he retired a couple years ago. But the why is what has me saying, what? He admits he needs the money. So the think bubble over my head when I'm reading this as I'm at the breakfast table this morning, looking through this article. How can someone who earned millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, just doing like movies, which I know is a lot of hard work. Yeah, I guess. How can they need the money? And here's the deal. The article says, hey, it's not just him. Several very well-paid actors have admitted they have run low on money. But come on, Jim.
5:30, exercise. 7 o'clock, wrestle with myself, loading. I'm bored.
The Grinch. He is so amazing as the Grinch. I love Jim Carrey. $300 million. That's what his fortune was, Deb. And now he's broke.
How?
Now, I have followed this very closely because it's typically athletes that I look at. And athletes are notorious for blowing millions and millions of dollars. I'll walk you through some of the things that athletes are told on day one, before they even play their first NBA game, what not to get into. And I wonder if it's some of the same traps happening to actors and actresses, whoever it might be. But I think I have an idea. I don't think they have any idea what broke is. Their definition of broke is not the definition that you and I have of broke.
Launch countdown 1.
Like I was saying, Dave and I spent a good chunk of the morning watching intense videos of cops from their body cams, okay? And it's raw video, and we've got, what do you think, hours of it here from this one incident. Dave and I were watching it. We're like, oh, on the edge of our seats. It's cops in Mill Creek commanding 2 men get out of their car after they shot up a semi-truck, after they cut off the truck driver, brake checking him. And so we're going to spend a special half hour straight ahead on the growing violence of road rage in the Valley. And we're going to begin with this crash and this high-speed pursuit and the shooting that happened last summer.
Okay, get over here. Hey, get over here. Get on the ground. On your stump. Do not move. Do you understand?
And we'll tell you what the defense said. They pleaded with the judge to take these things into account. The judge dismissed all. He's like, no, I'm not buying any of this. You're spending some time in prison.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The Launch.
Commence.
Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
Dave, I want to begin with how this one incident that happened July of 2023 in the streets, like Mill Creek, okay, on the east side of Salt Lake County. This is all going down, and much of it is caught on video. So let's begin actually with how it all ended. With a high-speed chase, cops in pursuit of 2 men at this point had fired shots at a semi-truck. It was an Amazon semi-truck. These men are in a sedan. And that shooting was all caught on Ring doorbell. Then we've got the pursuit that happens as cops move in. They start pursuing these men in this getaway car through Mill Creek. It's about 3300 South and 7th East. And then the getaway car crashes into another car, flips that car. And so we now have an innocent person who's just probably in the intersection. She's upside down in her vehicle. And then the cops move in to get those 2 men out of the car.
Hands up! Get out of the car! Okay, get over here. Hey, get over here. Get on the ground. On your stump. Do not move. Do you understand? Is someone in the back seat? No. Yes, please. Stop him. He says no one's in the back seat.
And I think it's these incidents that led the Utah State Legislature to pass a law that says we need to start tracking road rage incidents. And we have, starting in July, started to track how often road rage incidents are happening here in Utah and how often a gun is used.
Well, and listen to this. Let's go back to that Ring doorbell camera footage, okay? What you see on that Ring doorbell is a semi-truck that had basically stopped because he was having this encounter with this car that had, at this point, it seemed like it cut across several lanes of traffic to cut this, semi-truck driver off, crosses 4 lanes of traffic, nearly causes an accident. And then the semi-truck driver, I guess, does what people do when this happens, honks his horn, right?
You just cross 4 lanes of traffic, you're gonna get a horn.
So then slams on his brakes. This is the driver of the car. Makes an obscene gesture, according to reporting. And then both men, when they're driving, I guess, challenge the semi-truck driver to a fight. And then at some point, it sounds like there's some sort of an encounter. Maybe the semi-truck driver stops the car. The men get these 2 men in the car get pepper sprayed.
Yeah, the Amazon driver pepper sprays the 2 men, right? And then the men drive off, right? The guys that got pepper sprayed, they drive off, but then they return. And that's when they drive past the semi-truck and then fire the shots.
And then it all ends here after a high-speed pursuit when cops get involved. And that's not all. Let's not forget that there's a woman, an innocent woman who just happens to be driving in the area that day, who gets tossed upside down in her vehicle when the getaway car slams into it. That's video. That's body cam footage of the cops trying to pull her out of her own vehicle.
She's dangling upside down, airbags deployed, held together only with the seatbelt.
So when we come back, Dave, you were just citing a moment ago that there's this growing number of, violent road rage incidents on our road. But then you also started looking into how many guns are actually used in these road rage incidents. It's scary. That's next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
You know KSL is the only news radio for your car, right?
The only news radio for your smart speaker.
Come here in the morning. It's the latest news and traffic. In the afternoon, news and updated weather.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
With the holidays comes a lot of holiday eating. No question, we are stuffing our faces during the holidays. Listen, that's what we do. That's fine. Go ahead, enjoy your meal. But as soon as you're ready to lose some of that weight that you've put on or maybe held on for many years, let me tell you about Salt Lake City Fat Loss. It's a program that I joined back in February, and I was amazed at how incredible the results were. With Salt Lake City Fat Loss, I lost 57 pounds in 60 days. And they told me early on, they said, we got the secret to lose up to a pound of fat a day. Many people will lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two. And I saw some incredible results myself. One of the big reasons I chose Salt Lake City Fat Loss is because I was able to do it without any injections and without any surgery. So those were 2 big ones for me. There were no insane diet plans, that you had to subscribe to and they send you food. There was none of that as well. So if you do it right now, you're going to get 20% off the Salt Lake City Fat Loss program. That's their holiday special. You don't need to start today, but you can schedule it, pay for it right now, schedule it for the new year when you have your new plans going on. So go ahead and reach out to Salt Lake City Fat Loss, slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
A house explosion this afternoon.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Do you know how to tell if a clogged drain is something to worry about or not? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I understand it's annoying and inconvenient, but sometimes a clogged drain can be a sign there's a more serious issue with your sewer main line. If the drains in the lowest level of your home aren't draining, or you flush a toilet and it comes up somewhere else like a shower or a floor drain, I'm urging you to look at this as more than just an annoyance. The last thing I want you to experience is a sewer backup. If you're a homeowner experiencing any of these issues, the first step would be to snake the line to see if it's just a blockage, which one of our drain techs can do for only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Emergency traffic brought to you by Sinclair, and we have stopped traffic right now northbound I-15 from 1600 North in Orem all the way to the Pleasant Grove Boulevard area. That is due to a crash that had been blocking 3 left lanes of the freeway. They just opened 2 of those left lanes a couple of minutes ago, but the HOV lane remains blocked, so you're still going to be at a crawl through for quite a while. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Tim Hughes. First, an American who went missing from Hungary is believed to be in Syria after video showing what appears to be him starting to circulate on social media. Second, President-elect Donald Trump rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange this morning, thanking Time magazine for making him their Person of the Year. And third, 242,000 first-time jobless claims were filed this week. That's up 17,000 from the last week and the highest in a couple of months. We are going to look for a high today of 47 degrees, and we're on the freezing mark now in Salt Lake City. Let's get you back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
David Dujanovic.
Hey, get over here! Hey, get over here! Get on the ground, on your stomach. Do not move. Do you understand?
Dave and I talking about this body camera footage that we got here at Broadcast House yesterday that has to do with a road rage incident. It was a shooting, and then a high-speed pursuit. Then a woman is hit in her car by the getaway car, and this all goes down in the streets of Mill Creek. And here's the point where the cops are like getting these 2 men who, by the way, a twist in this story, are brothers, and they don't seem like young. They're not. Okay, I'm looking at this video. I'm like, you are way old enough to know. Way, way, way old enough to know.
Yeah, 25 years old.
Yeah. Here's the moment the cops, and this again, the body camera footage from Unified Police Department are. Hey, where's the gun? Where's the gun? Because remember that shooting was all caught on somebody's Ring doorbell. So then they end up in this high-speed pursuit, and a cop comes over and...
What? Where's the gun? The gun that was used to shoot at the Amazon truck.
Yes, this was one of those just terrifying moments. There's a lot of different layers to this, Debbie. The gun that was involved, the high-speed chase... It was all stemming from road rage. There's so many layers to this, and I think what we're learning here in Utah, we're starting to track road rage incidents more closely. In fact, do we want to talk about the numbers right now? Because we reached out to the Utah Highway Patrol, Lieutenant Cameron Roden, largely because of these incidents that were happening last year, the Utah State Legislature said, we need to start tracking this. We need to start making sure that we require road rage incidents to be documented. So since July, we've started to track these incidents. In July, 20 incidents that were reported. This summer.
Okay,
yeah.
July. Okay.
So
wow.
These were...
That's like one for every day of the work week.
Absolutely. And the key here, and the important part of this is the stuff that the police have responded to. Mm-hmm. This does not count the millions of road rage incidents that go unreported. So this was where police responded to an accident, a crash, an incident with a gun, and there were 20 in July. And then 11 in August, 10 in September, 19 in October, 14 in November. So we're talking double digits every single month.
Do you have any for this month?
5 already just in here in December. Yeah. So still tracking right to what the averages are.
So much for the holiday cheer, see, like, oh, goodness and kindness to others.
Yeah.
5 just this
as
month.
long as you don't cut me off.
And it's day 12, right? Is
Yeah.
it or the 12th day? Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're right on.
Wow, Dave, those numbers frighten me.
79 in just over 5 months.
What?
79.
And
Now,
this is all over Utah.
This is all over
Okay.
Utah, right. Now, what stood out to me more than anything was how many of these incidents involved a gun, because they're tracking not just the road rage incident itself, but how often a gun was used, brandished, fired. More than a third of these, going back to October, more than a third of these involved a gun. So it's not just road rage, that somebody got into a little jostling and, flipping each other off. More than a third have used a gun.
Okay. What you just laid out there is exactly why my fear of being on the roads has grown. I don't consider myself to be a nervous Nelly. I've been in all kinds of situations as a news reporter. You
You've
get
put
in
yourself in terrible situations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Scary situations. I've gotten to the point now where this is happening so frequently. And I think, well, part of it's because you're you're involved in the news, and so you pay attention to this more than most people. But it has made me nervous, especially, and I don't know why at night. I'm more fearful to drive because a lot of these incidents are happening during the day. This one in Mill Creek did. It was broad daylight, right? I mean, but I have become more nervous about somebody just, I make one wrong move and that's the last move I ever make. And it's purely by accident, right? You merge and you didn't quite see somebody, and then they're all upset. Or, somebody slams on their brakes in front of you. You slam in time, but it's a little too close and everything's fine. You didn't hit anything, thank goodness, but then they get upset and now they're tailgating you. And then I think of this woman in this, caught up, just completely innocent, in this Mill Creek situation last July. And she's just probably turning in the intersection or driving through the intersection. And here comes this getaway car. These two brothers accused at this point of shooting up or shooting at an Amazon truck after, cutting off that Amazon truck driver and, brake checking him. Well, then they take off. Those two brothers take off. This woman is just sitting in, her car now upside down because these two the driver and brother, they hit her.
Okay, are you ready? Support yourself. I'm going to cut this. Oh, you got it?
Just give me a second.
Yeah, she's dangling upside down, being held together basically by the seatbelt, and she popped it out and was able to get out.
All right, let's come over here and have a seat for me.
But I see myself in this woman. I see myself.
Collateral damage.
Collateral damage.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the things that's so important in this is that our justice system send a message and send a very strong message. Now, I don't know that everybody's going to get this message, but these two brothers were just sentenced to prison.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
3 to 5 years.
It just happened. So they were sentenced to prison. Their defense attorney, according to KSL.com, requested they go to jail and get probation instead of prison. Asked for leniency, including that this was their first felony as an adult. There were no bullet holes found, and no one was actually hit during the shooting.
Well, they didn't hit him, so should they really go to prison?
But what about? I mean, not only what about the Amazon driver? What about the woman? What about her? What about all of the people, the public safety threat that was happening through our streets that day?
And look at the escalation. This is what is fascinating to me, and we're going to take phone calls here in just a minute because I want to hear from our listeners. It starts off being cut off in a brake check. There's an there's an altercation, right, where they come up and the two brothers confront the Amazon driver. But he escalates it, whether it's justified or not. He takes out pepper spray and actually sprays the brothers with pepper spray. They leave, and then they come back and fire the gun. And then it's the high-speed chase, crashes into the woman. But I do wonder, and I want to hear from people, have you changed your behavior with all these road rage incidents?
Oh, you mean like carry protection?
Do you carry a weapon? Do you carry pepper spray? Because I don't have any pepper spray in my car, but if I feel like I'm being threatened, I could see myself carrying pepper spray in a car to protect myself.
801-575-TALK, 801-575-TALK. Yeah, have you changed your behaviors? You carry protection with you in your car because of the number of road rage incidents. Let's take your live calls next.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Tim Hughes with a look at some of our top stories this half hour. To say it's been a dry December in the Salt Lake Valley might be a bit of an understatement.
It has been an abysmal 000 through December 11th. Zippo in the sense of precipitation. Typically, we would have already received a half inch of water up to this date, and we would have had 4 inches of snow.
KSL Chief Meteorologist Kevin Eubanks says last year by this time in December, we had gotten a little more than 2 inches of snow and nearly 3/4 of an inch of rain. Fire crews in Sandy were busy last night putting out a chimney fire. Crews say the fire sparked inside of a home near 8700 South and 1600 East. No one was hurt. The fire was quickly put out. Officials say this is a good reminder, though, to make sure that your fireplaces and chimneys are cleaned out. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. An American has been found in Syria, but it's not who American officials were expecting to find.
Travis Pete Timmerman, an American who went missing from Hungary earlier this year, has been identified in Syria. U.S. officials say they're offering support and that they weren't aware he was in the country before now. Videos of Timmerman circulating online initially claimed to show another American, journalist Austin Tice, who was kidnapped in Syria 12 years ago. Shannon Kingston, ABC News, the State Department.
Your money at this moment, the Dow now down just 9 points. The S&P is off 7, and the NASDAQ in the red now by 42. It had crossed the 20,000 mark for the first time ever yesterday, and we're just below it at 19,991. Coming up, little sunshine now making its way into downtown Salt Lake City, and a slight chance of showers later tonight. We'll take a closer look at the weekend forecast. KSL News Time, 9:32.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Let's talk about some soft water. I'm not sure if this is what your Christmas present is going to be to your spouse. That might not go over super well, but I'll tell you this. My wife and I, we looked at a soft water system as an investment in our home. We had actually gone a number of years without soft water, and, we didn't know what we were missing, right, because we'd never had it. But then we started paying the price, right? It really wears down your expensive appliances. We've actually done the whole test of a water softener or a water heater with a water softener and then a water heater without a water softener. And I'll tell you this, when we had soft water, our water heater lasted twice as long. So we really did see it as an investment. So if you're interested in getting soft water into your home, I've loved my Kinetico water softener system. Go ahead and reach out to Kinetico. They'll come out to your house, walk you through the entire thing. 801-576-8600. They're an authorized Kinetico dealer, obviously. 801-576-8600. Or, of course, you can check them out online by going to softwaterutah.com.
Text scams, identity thieves, data leaks. Hearing about these online threats every day can be stressful. But don't worry. McAfee Total Protection is here to help you live a worry-free life online. What does worry-free mean? Well, it means you won't have to wonder if that text message is a scam, if new threats will pop up on your PC, or if you're safe from identity theft. Visit McAfee.com/online protection today to get award-winning online protection for just $39.99 your first year. That's McAfee.com/online protection. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
This is Jeff Stout with Fink and McGregor Mortgages Made Simple. There are lots of mortgage lenders out there, so why choose Fink and McGregor? Here are some good reasons. We are a broker. That means we can shop loan terms on your behalf, including loan programs, rates, and closing costs. We make it easy. We can take your application within a few short minutes, either on the phone or in person, on our fast application website, 4minutemortgage.com. We can help sift through options to find the best solution for you. This can include loan programs, credit fixes, or loan strategies. We are fast, really fast. Most loans close within a couple weeks. Start to finish, we are here for you. Apply today at 4minutemortgage.com. Fink and McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple, 801-264-9494. That's 264-9494. Or on the web at finkmcgregor.com, NMLS 289115.
Shopping for a new Kia Sportage? Jerry Seiner Kia South Jordan has a great selection to choose from. Save up to $4,000 off MSRP on new Sportage. Yes, $4,000 off. With interest rates dropping, now is the time to buy during Kia's Season of New Traditions sales event. Visit Jerry Seiner today. That's Jerry Seiner Kia South Jordan and Salt Lake.
Discount off MSRP includes dealer contribution, tax, license, and fees are extra. See dealer for details. Expires 1/2/2025.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair. Save on every gallon with the Dino Pay app. It's Heather Kelly in the traffic center.
Well, we still have very slow traffic northbound I-15 between 800 North and Orem all the way up to Pleasant Grove Boulevard. It's due to a crash still blocking the HOV lane and left shoulder, but at least traffic is moving. It had been completely stopped when half of the freeway was shut down when this accident first happened. Now, before you even get there in Provo, we also have a fender bender in the cleanup stages right near University Avenue in Provo, just after the on-ramp. That's over on the right shoulder. The rest of the commute in Salt Lake and Davis counties are at speed. Salt Lake select dates through December 24th. Stop by the Entertainment Plaza at Jordan Landing Shopping Center to get a photo with Santa. Visit jordanlanding.com for details. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today will be partly cloudy. Then there's a 10% chance of snow this evening. Highs will be about 47 degrees. Tomorrow that drops to 43 with a 30% chance. Still a 20% chance Saturday, but temperatures jump up to 49. The next best chance of getting some actual measurable snow will be on Sunday with a high of 43. Right now it's freezing in Salt Lake City, 32 degrees from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. I'm Tim Hughes. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
So, hoping you guys will take just a few minutes and give us a quick phone call. Because we're talking about the growing number of road rage incidents on our roads. Dave pointed out, I think it's just a huge number of them involve guns. And we wondered if because of all of the road rage incidents, we're talking about one right now that happened a year and a half ago where we just got video of it, the body cam video. And these two brothers recently sentenced to up to 5 years, 3 to 5 years in prison. The parole board will decide how long these two stay in prison. How do you feel about this, Dave, in terms of your own protection?
The story that stands out to me in this entire scenario is, so obviously road rage incidents happen every day on Utah roads. It happens all the time. So when these two brothers confront this Amazon driver, the inflection point that stands out to me is he felt so threatened, he actually takes out pepper spray and sprays it on the two brothers, right? They leave at that point and they drive off. But then they come back, and that's when they pull out the gun and then they fire at the truck. So was that an escalation, right? Was the Amazon driver, did he escalate it too much? What or do you defend yourself like that? And I think if you're outnumbered or you feel threatened, I would want to have some sort of protection, whether that's bear spray. But even if you call 911 and you feel threatened, they're not going to show up, best case scenario, for several minutes.
We just got a text, Dave, from one of our listeners at 57500. I'm wondering if you can read through that real quickly while I talk about my concerns and how I've changed my behavior. I'm with this other texter who texted in and who says, I'm a kinder driver. I am less likely to honk my horn and more likely to let people merge in. I am too. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going to honk my horn because I don't want to end up like this woman.
Okay, are you ready? Support yourself. I'm going to cut this. Oh, you got it?
Just give me a second.
You know, and she's, as we've been talking, was collateral damage to this incident involving this Amazon truck that ended up getting shot at by after a road rage incident. And then the getaway car takes off. It turns out there's two brothers inside who are now going to prison or are already in prison for this. And but the cops initiate a pursuit of the getaway car, and the car and the getaway car ends up hitting this woman's car, and she's now flipped upside down, dangling in her seat. So it's because of all of this, the craziness that's going on our roads, that I worry about my safety, and I'm with you. I definitely honk a lot less, unless you're ready to just back into me in a parking lot or something like that, and I'm much more willing to let you merge in.
But here, one of the problems that we have is when we are overly kind, so to speak, well, that can have a ripple effect as well, right? You just have to do what everyone else is expecting you to do. If all of a sudden you're slamming on your brakes to let somebody merge in, there's a chain reaction that goes on as well.
Yeah,
so
sure.
If we're overly cautious, there's dangers in that as well. It's just we are escalating things too much. And we're taking your phone calls, 801-575-TALK. But one of our texters, I want to read this. He said, I was in one of those road rage incidents in November. The other driver was the aggressor and the escalator at the time. I did not respond with anger, but then he started throwing Pepsi cans at my truck.
What?
I was so scared to talk to the cops after learning about the law change that I had to hire an attorney just for being the victim. The law needs to be detailed and more specific. That way victims are comfortable in coming forward with prosecution. Now, my understanding is, listen, if you're the victim, obviously you have more protection than if somebody else is the aggressor. But what maybe speaks to this texter's concerns is, do you have the proof? Do you have the proof to be able to say, hey, this person was the aggressor, or maybe I cut somebody off, but they're the ones that escalated?
I want to get to our phone lines. Bob, are you there? Oh, I guess we're having some struggles in the control room with our phones. So sorry, Bob. We'll have to get you on the air another day. But Caitlin did a good job. Our producer did a good job breaking down what Bob said. He said, in general, carries protection, not just for road rage. Has experience where someone almost hit him, and then they came after him.
Another texter says, I'm a concealed weapon permit holder. When is it justified to pull your weapon? The laws don't protect the victims. I don't totally agree with that. And again, if you have questions, you can speak to a police officer. You can speak to an attorney.
Yeah, we're still having problems with our phone line. Sorry, Dave. We thought we could get Bob on.
No, that's fine. So going back to this texture that's saying, listen, I'm a concealed weapon permit holder. When is it justified to pull your weapon? When you feel like your life is in danger, or if you are protecting, you feel like somebody else's life is in danger. We've talked to Greg Skordas many times. He's our KSL legal analyst, and he said that is what the law says. Now, that doesn't guarantee it. A lot of it depends on how a jury or someone would think that that is a justifiable thought process. You have to be able to justify that, but it's an escalation, no question. If you're carrying, you should know very well what your rights are and when it is appropriate to defend yourself.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave and Debbie go out of their way to make sure you hear all sides of a story.
They're working the phones to get several viewpoints on for you.
Hi, it's Tim and Amanda. We get you the full story, too.
We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Donate your car to Charity Hotline. This is Roger.
Hi, Roger, I'd like to donate my car.
Yeah, good. Leave the keys in it, park it on the street, and we'll send a thug. Tow.
Where's your office?
In New Jersey. Where do you want it to be?
Well, Roger,
yeah.
I want to make sure my donation helps Utah kidney patients.
It will.
Which ones?
Well, does it matter?
Yes, I want the money to stay in Utah.
And boy, have you got the wrong number.
If you want your car donation to help people here in Utah, turn your car into a kidney car for the National Kidney Foundation of Utah and Idaho. Hi, this is Lewis Perez. Kidney Cars is the Beehive State's #1 choice for charity car donation since 1990. When you donate your car to Kidney Cars, funding stays in Utah to help local Utah kidney patients and funds local medical research. Kidney Cars gets donors the highest tax deduction, along with free towing. Visit towcars.org and learn more. That's towcars with a K like kidney. That's TOWKARS.org.
In 2024, dating is a disaster. We've been ghosted, breadcrumbed, stuck in situationships. Hi, I'm Debbie. I'm Caitlin. Welcome to our new podcast, Dating at Her Age. Dating has been so dicey for us, so we asked KSL, can we launch an all-new podcast about it?
People use these dating apps. You're not really dating when you're on the dating app.
Dating at Her Age, brought to you by Mountain Home Services. A new episode drops every Thursday on KSLNewsRadio.com.
Transform your old, outdated kitchen with Half Price Granite. For a limited time, Half Price Granite is offering special pricing starting at $25 per square foot installed. That's lower than most big box stores. These prices are some of the lowest around. Granite, quartz, marble, and quartzite, all starting at $25 per square foot installed. Call 801-486-1700 or visit halfpricegranite.com. Half Price Granite, affordable luxury.
The Salt Lake Chamber is Utah's voice for business. Okay, that sounds great, but what does it really mean? Well, as Utah's largest and longest-standing business association, they support and champion community prosperity throughout the state. And if you're in business, well, that's a very good thing for you. Be sure to listen to the Chamber's Speaking on Business, weekdays at 7:20, 11:55, and 5:20 p.m. on KSL News Radio.
Give the perfect gift to your family this winter. Come and play in Bear Lake. Reserve your winter getaway now and relax during or after the holidays. Visit bearlake.org.
For eligible individuals 18 and older with self-perceived mild to moderate hearing loss only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
Life without hearing aids can be frustrating.
Andy, did you hear what she just said?
No, I'm sorry. What did I miss?
I said I got the promotion, Dad. I thought you would be excited.
You're missing out on the important moments of your life because you just can't hear them. It's time to try the Jabra Enhanced Select 500, our smallest, most advanced hearing aid. With proprietary speech clarity technology, even the most complex listening situations like a noisy restaurant are crisp and clear. And you can get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional care you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. Get Jabra Enhanced over-the-counter hearing aids and stop missing the important moments. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhanced.com/radio. That's JABRA Enhanced.com/radio. JabraEnhanced.com/radio.
Hey everybody, it's Casey Scott, and I have a podcast called Project Recovery. I talk about my own journey from addiction to a lifelong one in recovery. I'm joined by my good friend and a clinical psychologist, Dr. Matt Woolley.
You know, it's your story, Casey, but we also hear inspiring stories of others who join the show from rock bottom to living a life of recovery.
That's Project Recovery, a show about addiction, but more importantly, it's about recovery. Follow us for free on KSLpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Tim Hughes. First, a man is facing charges accused of intentionally running a bicyclist off the road. Second, a new rule from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau plans to cap overdraft fees at $5 for many customers, saving them around $30. Third, President-elect Donald Trump has selected former reporter and close ally Kari Lake to head Voice of America, the publicly funded broadcast network. We'll look for a high today of 47 degrees, partly cloudy later in the afternoon, and right now it's 32. Let's get you back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Right on the money. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
So we're learning that there may be a new rule in play. Maybe it happened by now. I wonder if we can do a little research in our control room there. That there's going to be a regulation, a new federal rule that will cap overdraft fees for your checking account at $5. Basically less than a latte, Dave. $5. What do you think of that?
Okay, so overdraft fees have drained my bank account more than one time.
Really?
I mean, I'm not a great manager of my money. If I start swiping my card, I just keep swiping, and then all of a sudden I didn't realize, okay, I was out, right? So this in the past has been a real problem, and I've paid $1 million in overdraft fees. So the idea of capping selfishly would have very much helped me, a younger Dave.
So currently, the typical overdraft fees, according to this report I'm reading from
$35. You don't even need to say,
Really?
Deb.
You know
I
that.
absolutely
How do you
know
know
this.
that?
Because I have paid many a $35 overdraft fee.
So I have a take on that it might actually help you, and maybe it'll help our other listeners. And I want to say specifically our younger listeners who might not have been informed by their mom, me. I realized I didn't tell my youngest daughter a little trick I learned a long time ago about overdraft fees. I'm going to share that with you in just a moment. So this will apply to banks with more than $10 billion in deposits. So if you hear this rule has taken effect and you find yourself with a $35 overdraft fee, well, then you might want to go check the assets of your bank. These are banks that are worth more than $10 billion. But I think the aha moment for me in this is expected to save banking customers, which I care most about banking customers, $5 billion a year. And they break it down and say that this could save the average household in America $225 a year. So that's how they break it down. So imagine these overdraft fees get capped at $5, and that's all you have to pay. That's going to save you $225 annually. Now, I do want to talk about as well, Dave, in this, why I have so much compassion for people who end up in an overdraft fee circus.
Yeah, for sure. And I can just speak to my own experience of why this was the case and how we've tried to mitigate it over the years is when you get your paycheck, oftentimes you'll pay all your bills, right? And the bills don't always come out immediately. So when you look at your balance, you may think you have more money than you do, and then the car payment or the insurance payment goes through, and you don't realize. So it's easy. You made 5, latte purchases, or you went to McDonald's, then got a soda, 3 or 4 different purchases, even small purchases. Yeah. And then you didn't realize that the car insurance went through. Now you get dinged with 5 small purchases at $35 a pop.
So here's where my compassion swoops in, is exactly what you just said. Look, honestly, when is the last time you sat down and to the penny balanced your checkbook register? Where is your checkbook register? Okay,
Yeah.
that is
They don't exist
so
anymore.
1990s.
Right.
Maybe early knots. But by the time banking apps came out and you could check your balance every single day, every single minute. There's times I go on my banking app and I look at it and then I close it and I'm like, oh, I forgot what that number was. Like, I got to go back to it. There's times I check my banking app 3 and 4 times in a day, and then there's 4 or 5 days that go by I don't check it. But the point is, we're not balancing our checkbooks to the penny. And even when we did, and I did this, every single what a headache. I felt like it was tax season every other week when we were doing this. So I'd sit down. It was never balanced. Look, I was a bank teller, too, for a time back in my teen years. Sometimes things just don't balance out. You're off a few bucks. But I just have always felt when I have been the subject of an overdraft fee that it's like, no, they're just taking advantage of the fact that I was off by $5. And now here comes an insurance payment. Maybe you have your car insurance taken out monthly. And you didn't notice that they were going to up your insurance monthly premium $5.
Good point. Yeah.
Right? You don't notice this. It's $10
Some of those
more.
happen.
You don't catch it.
Yep.
And now and then that costs you $35 for a mistake. Just a simple mistake. So now honestly, this is when you're broke, it's how you get broker. And I am glad at some of these rules that are coming out of DC. I say, well, like rulemaking, they shouldn't be doing that. Yes, they should. $5 is enough. Now, a bank might come in and say, well, it costs us $8 to process it. Well, you got my money. You know what I mean? You're making interest off my money. So
it's not costing you that. It's all automated anyway.
It's all automated, right? So I have a lot of compassion for this because I feel like it's just a gotcha moment. And sometimes it can be a gotcha moment for the people who can least afford the gotcha.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. And what is so frustrating about that, again, going back to the if you overdraft your account, you might be 3 or 4 or 5 purchases in before you realize, or maybe even a couple days. And if you're getting hit with a $35 overdraft fee every single time. Now, let's be honest. Part of the reason we have overdraft fees is because there were people taking advantage and writing checks, but that's just not the case anymore, right? We don't write checks very often.
Check kite.
Yeah, right. Those kind of scams. That's not what we're talking about. Right. A lot of it is innocent. It's not nefarious. And with all the apps that are out there has to be a better alert system that allows us to make good before we get hit with the overdraft.
So a couple of things that I would do if you're getting dinged, ding, 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 ding. It's not a slot machine going on, right? Yeah. It's your balance going down, or you're getting. Now you're in the negative. I would go into your bank and I would talk to them about all of those fees. If you got hit with a number of fees all at once because you made one simple mistake, I would go in and negotiate. Yeah. Get that money back.
And I've done that.
Good.
Yep.
Money's money.
Yep.
Take 10 minutes out of your day or half an hour out of your day. If you're getting dinged for $150 in overdraft fees because of one mistake, $90, whatever it is, money's money. Go in and make your case. The other thing I realized a few years ago as a mom, this is my mom moment, is that, my kids are opening up accounts now because they're older. I never really had a discussion with them about overdraft protection. So getting a little line of credit doesn't have to be a lot because sometimes we worry, well, we have more credit available. I might nickel and dime my way to, being in more and more debt. But you can go and ask for a couple $100 or $250 in overdraft protection. And then,
can I speak to that really quick?
Yeah, go on.
Because I have done that as well. I've had the overdraft protection, but my bank also hit me with a convenience fee.
You got to ask about that.
Yeah. So it was like an extra $5 for overdraft protection. So it wasn't the $35 late fee or overdraft fee. Yeah. It was the $5 convenience fee.
Well, you definitely need to shop it around. Yeah. Right? Just don't swing into the first bank you see and sign up for that. Do you have to shop it around and see which ones don't? I don't get charged anything, and I've been at that bank for 30 years, probably more than 30 years. So we set up a little overdraft protection because I was like, you can't risk $35 every single time you make a mistake. or whatever. So definitely shop it around. Make sure you're not getting charged extra, because I bank at a place that doesn't charge me anything for that. So there's options out there. But yeah, this federal rule would take effect in October of 2025. It takes so long to put these federal rules in place.
Isn't that
Shouldn't it be like January
crazy?
1 of 2025?
How about tomorrow?
Straight ahead, another push, again, by Congress to dump daylight saving time.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour, the Utah Department of Public Safety asking for help from the incoming Trump administration. The president-elect says he wants to focus on crime and deport people in the country illegally who've committed crimes. DPS Commissioner Jess Anderson tells KSL TV's Garna Mejia they're going to need assistance to make this work.
But we're saying, listen, President Trump and your new administration, your local office here needs help.
Anderson went on to talk about the drug problems the state is facing, specifically activity along the Jordan River Trail near the State Fair Park. Family of 9 in the southern Utah town of Enterprise is homeless now after their house went up in flames. Family says they were cooking with grease the night before, wiped it up with a paper towel, and then threw it in the trash where it started to smolder, and the fire lit up so quickly they barely made it out. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. New claims for unemployment are a way to track layoffs, and those numbers were up last week. ABC's Jim Ryan reports.
In the week ending December 7th, 242,000 claims were filed, 17,000 more than the week before. Cooling demand for labor means that more people were collecting unemployment checks at the end of November than at the beginning of this year.
And looking at your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average is down 93 points right now. The NASDAQ is down 79. And our KSL weather, looks like the clouds are going to stick around. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very... Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This Friday, join KSL News Radio and Hale Center Theater as the movie show broadcasts live at the theater beginning at 11 a.m., 9900 South Monroe Street in Sandy. 2025 season tickets are now on sale and make great Christmas gifts. Gift cards are also available for any amount. The 2025 season includes Little Women, the Broadway musical, DreamWorks, The Prince of Egypt, Finding Neverland, 12 Angry Men, Footloose, the musical Comedy Murders of 1940, Sister Act, and Disney's Frozen. Playing now on the center stage is Disney's Beauty and the Beast. And on the Jewel Box stage, the 40th year of A Christmas Carol. Go to hct.org or call 801-984-9000.
It's a new chapter for energy in your community. Dominion Energy is now Enbridge Gas in Utah, Wyoming, and Idaho. With 175 years experience delivering reliable energy, we're pleased to welcome customers formerly served by Dominion Energy to our Enbridge family. While the name of your gas company has changed, we remain your first choice for affordable natural gas. For more information, visit enbridgegas.com. That's ENBRIDGE gas.com. Tomorrow is on.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair. Save on every gallon with the DinoPay app. Here's Heather Kelly.
We still have some slowing on northbound I-15 as you leave Orem and head up toward the Pleasant Grove Boulevard exit. Now, all of this started with a crash blocking multiple lanes at Pleasant Grove, but then we've had a crash in the backups. So in the Linden area, you're going to see another crash blocking the HOV lane and left shoulder. And then once you get past all that, looks like we have yet another crash in Lehigh. This is right near Main Street area. So you've got some delays trying to get through Utah County this morning, all of it northbound I-15. Everybody else, though, in Salt Lake, Weber, and Davis counties are traveling at speed no matter which roadway you take. Looking for the best gift ever? That's what you get at Minky Couture, the original luxury blanket company. Use code KSL50 online and in stores to receive 50% off your purchase. Visit minkycouture.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy today with a high 47, then more clouds tomorrow and a chance of rain or snow. Right now, 37 degrees. It's mostly cloudy. I'm Dan Bomis from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Dave was super excited this morning when he walked in because he's like, yes, Congress is looking at getting rid of daylight saving time again. And then the Debbie Downer moment came in and I slam dunked over his head and I said, again? Haven't we talked about this like 7 or 8 times?
Yes, and we've been disappointed every single time. But this one, this is why it's different, Debbie. Are you ready for this? This is why I think it's different.
Please, yeah.
Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, the Doge twins. That's what the Department of Government Efficiency is looking. Listen, these are the two of the biggest advisors in President Trump's ear. And the Senate has already passed some daylight savings reforms. So there are some things moving in the right direction. And then I came across the Washington Post. They had a map where they broke down every county in the country of what it would mean if we stopped bouncing forward and back.
You mean in terms of how much daylight we'd have?
It's all about daylight and sunset.
Okay, can we just take a quick 30-second timeout here before we jump into your coloring book over there, which is the graphic that
You never want to live in Alaska, just so you know.
Yeah, okay.
You never even want to mess with Alaska.
Okay. So, you know me, when it comes to this, I always tell you got to carry the ball across the finish line on this one for me because I always get so confused when we start talking about clocks and time and all that when you bounce it back before standard time and daylight saving time.
Okay.
Which one, though? I do understand that we're in daylight saving time right now, right?
No, we're in standard time.
Okay, so obviously starting off on the wrong foot. We're on standard time right now. So we're in daylight saving time in the summer.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I love that.
You like that?
I love it.
Because you like to go hiking at 9 o'clock at night.
I do.
Like, I love that 9 o'clock sunset.
Yeah. So I also, went outside on my patio 2 days ago because when I drove home at about 3:30 in the afternoon, I noticed the sun was shining. Well, by the time I, changed clothes, grabbed a fresh bottle of water and stepped outside on my patio, I'm like, the sun's gone. I mean, who stole the sun? It was just gone. There weren't any clouds to mask the sun. It just had flopped behind the Ochre Mountains. It's like 3:45 in the afternoon. Like this time of year, I feel like I'm always driving at night, even if it's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, it's night again. So I think I want to stay on the summertime stuff.
You wanna-
I like the summertime kick. Yeah.
So
I
this
like the
is
feels of that.
This is the problem. We're trying to figure out. You grew up in Arizona where they don't do the time changes.
Yeah, there's no flip-flopping.
Right? They just stay on standard time. So they don't do the daylight saving. So you can do that, right? Like federally, a state can decide to say, we're going to stick with standard time. That is allowed. But what a lot of people want to do is exactly what you said, Deb. A lot of states want to go permanent daylight saving time.
It's confusing. See,
I know,
you
it is.
even had to think. I saw your eyeballs like.
Which one is it?
I'm gonna mess
They want to
this
stay
up.
on the summer schedule.
They want to stay on the summer schedule.
They like a sunny 9 o'clock, right? Which is kind of wild.
PM.
So, yeah, 9 o'clock p.m. So what this calculator does in the Washington Post is it says, okay, if we're not bouncing back and forth, falling back or springing forward, then you have to accept some of the downside. Now, this is where the downside is. Let me look at, let's say Wasatch County, right? The earliest sunset, if we didn't do daylight saving time.
This is like Heber.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is
Heber,
in
Utah.
Park City
I'm like,
in
why
Wasatch
did you pick
County.
Wasatch County?
Because the earliest sunset was amazing to
Okay,
me.
go ahead.
I had to choose Wasatch
All right.
because sunset will happen at 4:58 p.m. 4:58, the sun goes down in Park City if they don't do daylight saving. Like that's the earliest. That is crazy. Like you don't even get a clock out of work and sun's gone.
Sun's gone.
So that is kind of a shocker. But if you had permanent daylight saving time, then in Park City, then sunset is at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So you actually get a drive home with the twilight, or
And that's
or
in the
sun-
winter. You'd be driving
Yeah.
home at 6 p.m. It would go to. That's definitely more on. That's definitely the more. in the
That's for
Arizona.
your pitch. That's where you like
But that's kind of how it is in Arizona.
where
You know?
around 6 o'clock.
Yeah. In the wintertime, the sun's going down.
Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit wild.
I thought we were past that, but go ahead.
No.
Things
Okay,
are
yeah.
already wild.
So obviously the sunset. What you get when you get rid of the daylight saving time, you get extremes. So the
I see.
extreme is the extreme sunset, which is before 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kids are like barely getting out of school and the sun's setting. But how about this? The earliest sunrise without daylight saving time is 4:54 a.m.
Love it. Why haven't we done this already?
Yeah.
4:54
For us
a.m.
early risers, for the
Yeah.
early birds, that's amazing, right? But 4:54, but how many times are you sleeping and you wake up because the light starts coming in through your window,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, that's just kind of the circadian rhythms in our body. They're like, oh, sunlight, okay, time to wake up.
Well, when I was in college, not so much, but now, yeah.
You sleep through that for sure.
Isn't that funny how that happens?
Yeah, we can
It's a
sleep through anything.
Total side note here. Yeah, in college, it was like, oh, it's noon.
Yeah, because your level of sleep deprivation in college is like 137%. But imagine if that sun is peeking through your window at 4 o'clock, 4:54 in the morning,
Love it.
then that kind of messes you up, right? A lot of people, most people, do not wake up like us, Debbie, at 4:45 or 4:30.
I think that's just wrong, but okay.
I wish everyone did. I wish you guys all suffered through that. But those are the extremes that we're dealing with here in Utah. So if you do get rid of this, then you just have to accept that in the summertime, you're going to have a very early sunrise, but in the wintertime, you're going to have a very early sunset.
What and what's wrong with that? I think the winter would be hard. I think we might regret it
With the
come
early
December.
sunset?
Yeah, come
This
December,
is-
we might regret it.
This is why I don't think that is terrible in the winter. It's already cold, and when the sun goes down, whether it's at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, you don't want to be outside partying it up in the winter anyway. So it's cold. Who cares if you're inside? You're going to be inside anyway.
So basically, you've given up. Like you're just like,
Yeah.
I've just given up.
It's too cold. I'm not going
caved.
outside. I'm
It's-
not going outside at 5 o'clock, 6
I
o'clock.
wonder
And
how the ski resorts would like that.
no, that's
or
a great
not,
point.
or
Well,
not like it.
ski resorts do close typically
At 4,
at
right?
4. So
You
you're
could start night skiing a little earlier, maybe.
You could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
it's not a radical change because they do play into this already, right? That's part of the reason they go 4 o'clock. But yeah, you'd probably be getting off the slopes and driving through the canyons in the dark.
So, all right. We got to take calls on this, right? I mean, everybody's got an opinion about daylight saving time, especially when we spring forward. When we fall back, we're all like, oh, an extra hour of sleep. When we spring forward, we're like, ah.
Can I hit some more of the extremes when we come back?
Please.
Like in other parts of the country, because we're about 5 o'clock. Those are the extremes, 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. That's the extremes on the sunrise and sunset. Okay? But wait till you hear what happens in Seattle, Washington.
I can't wait. Okay, Seattle, Washington. Keep or delete daylight saving time.
Are you good with just picking one?
Yeah, keep it or delete it. What do you want to do with what do you want Congress to do with daylight saving time? 801-575-TALK. 801-575-TALK. Let's take your live calls. Are the phone lines working, guys? Thumbs up. Okay, the phone lines are working. We got live calls next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Current events can have a lot of moving parts. Our job is to make it easy to keep up.
You're part of a bigger world, so spend 15 or 20 minutes here and be part of it.
Join us weekday mornings between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
When I joined Salt Lake City Fat Loss back in February, it was because I can't believe it's been that long. I mean, that's kind of shocking to me that it's been going on this long. It taught me so many things about myself. Number one, how many bad habits I had gotten into. Now, you think you know your bad habits, but until you join a program, I don't think you really shine a spotlight on those bad habits. So Salt Lake City Fat Loss touched base with me every single day, either some sort of a message, a video, something that said, okay, Dave, this is why you're on the program. This is the purpose. This is why we're doing what we're doing. And I was able to lose 57 pounds in 60 days with Salt Lake City Fat Loss. And I was overwhelmed at first. I was a little bit nervous. I didn't think I'd be able to do it. But when I saw these incredible results happening day to day, week to week, I was able to stay motivated. I was able to stay on the plan. And then I saw the big results over a couple of months. And then you go into a maintenance. So you don't have to cut out food forever. You know, you just have to learn, okay, when can I treat myself and when do I need to be more disciplined? And I think the Salt Lake City Fat Loss Program is absolutely fantastic. They're running a great deal right now during the holidays. It's 20% off. You don't need to start tomorrow, but you can get the deal right now. Go ahead and start it on January 2nd. It'll be a great program for you, I think, because I really enjoyed it. Go ahead and check them out. Reach out to them, Salt Lake City Fat Loss. The website is slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
A house explosion this afternoon.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
Hi, Susan. We haven't seen or heard from you.
Cold.
We would like to locate Joyce.
The mysteries that made podcast history
Cherie Warren disappeared.
are now together for free at kslpodcasts.com.
I'm Dave Cawley, the host of Cold. Join me for Season 1, The Susan Powell Case Files. Season 2, Justice for Joyce. And Season 3, The Search for Cherie. Listen anytime for free at kslpodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
First time skiing?
That's right.
Okay, when I nudge you down the mountain, just go for it. Shift your weight to turn.
It's hard to do something if you don't know what you're doing. How do I stop?
Point the tips of your skis together so it looks like a slice of pizza.
A Learn and Earn account from Cyprus Credit Union gives teens the resources to practice money management and develop the confidence they'll need when it's time to step out on their own. See how your teen can earn up to $200 with a Learn and Earn account at cypruscu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Pizza!
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This holiday season, give the gift of joy with Mrs. Kavanaugh's chocolates. Imagine the delight on your loved ones' faces as they unwrap a box of their handcrafted gourmet chocolates. From creamy caramels to chocolate-covered treats, each piece is made with love and the finest ingredients. Family-owned for over 60 years, Mrs. Kavanaugh's offers a tradition of quality and care. Whether it's their famous chocolate-covered nuts or their decadent fudge, Mrs. Kavanaugh's has something to make every holiday moment sweeter. Find the perfect gifts this year for your family, friends, and employees at mrscavanaughs.com or visit their retail store to explore their holiday specials and delicious corporate gifts. Order now and make the season unforgettable with the magic of Mrs. Kavanaugh's chocolates, where every bite is a memory. Share the sweetness.
Dave and Dujanovic.
If you're driving to work or you're driving the kids to a soccer game, we're your in-car companions.
People will come up to me and say, "Oh, I talk to you every day. You don't realize it because I'm talking at the radio, but I talk to you every day."
Listen for Dave and Dujanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, Utah authorities want help from the incoming Trump administration if they're going to be enforcing immigration laws. Second, a fire in southern Utah left a family of 9 without a home. Third, Salt Lake City has had 0 snow so far in the month of December. 37 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Keep it or delete it. Daylight saving time. That's what we're talking about because the Washington Post reporting that it could happen. I mean, maybe not. We've been saying that for a long time. But Congress has been considering this for quite some time, and maybe it'll happen sooner rather than later. Hopefully not as late as sunset will be in Wasatch County if this thing happens. Right, Dave? It's going to be very late.
Yeah, there's a few things, and I love this. The Washington Post put together a map of the United States, every single county, and then it tells you if we do no daylight saving time or permanent daylight saving time, what is it going to look like? And the extremes that you see, it's either in the sunrise or the sunset. It just depends on whether it's the winter or the summertime. But you do start seeing extremes. For example, in Salt Lake and Wasatch County, you're going to have basically 5 a.m. sunsets and 5 a.m. sunrises. Those are the extremes that you're going to see.
5 p.m. sunsets and 5 a.m. sunrises. I know.
However you said it, that's right.
Well, we joke about this when it comes to me because anytime Dave brings this up, I'm like, I can't because I can't keep it all straight in my brain. I don't know, it's a left-right brain kind of thing, left-right brain. I don't know what's going on. 801-575-TALK. Keep it or delete it. Hi, Dan. What do you think about getting rid of daylight saving time for good?
I think the right answer is to spring forward and stay.
So you want daylight saving time?
Nights, but just keep one. Keep the spring forward. So morning when it's cold, who cares what's outside, right? I hate coming home from work, and I leave when it's dark. I come home when it's dark. So it'd be nice to have at least one of those in the winter.
Sorry, where do you live? I'm going to tell you. If we do stick permanently with daylight saving time, I'll tell you what your extremes are going to be. You're in Salt Lake? Okay, so your extremes, if we stay on that, is going to be a sunrise at almost 9 a.m. So that's going to be your extreme. So you'll have a 9 a.m., which is pretty dark in the morning.
In the winter?
Yeah, in the winter. So you'll have a 9 a.m., and then, that's probably the worst extreme for you.
How do the kids walk to school in that?
Oh, that's a great point.
Thanks, Dan.
That plays into it as well.
Yeah.
The concern of if you're walking to school or from school. But that's one of the big concerns is you would have kids walking to school. If you stay permanently on daylight saving time, you'd have kids walking to school straight up in the dark.
Hi, Emma.
Hi. So I have an interesting opinion. Who doesn't need an extra hour every day anyways? And I like the early sunrise and the later sunset. So let's just add an extra hour afternoon. Let's call it 13 o'clock. And let's just do it in the afternoon. I don't want it after midnight, but I really could use an extra hour in my day. And I like the early sunrise and the late sunset.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something there. Yeah. I don't know if the Department of Government Efficiency is going to tackle a 25th hour in the day, but you know what? I'll see what Elon says. I'll send him the wish list.
Doge. Yeah. What do they call it? the Doge Commission. You said you wanted to walk through other extremes around the country based on that Washington Post graphic. What do you got?
Okay, so let's look up in Seattle, Washington. Okay. So remember, our extremes is basically a 5 a.m. sunrise and a 5 p.m. sunset. Those are the extremes here in Utah. But if you're in Seattle, 4:15 sunrise, 4:15 a.m. sunrise. We're approaching the threes right there, like 4:15 a.m. Sun peaks up over the mountain. There's no mountains. There's not many mountains up there. But anyway, yeah. So that's the extreme you get. But then you have a 4:22 sunset.
That doesn't seem fair.
Isn't that wild? Those are some of the extremes that you're seeing. Now, if you start going down into the southern part of California, San Bernardino, San Diego, then your extremes are not.
What are they? Because people like to go to the beach.
Okay, so if you have no daylight saving, you've got a 4:30 p.m. sunset.
In San Diego?
Yeah, in San Diego.
No.
So you're sitting on the beach at 4:30.
At lunchtime.
Yeah, lunchtime. You're like, oh, let's enjoy this wonderful sunset. So, yeah, you get some extremes there as well.
Can you go over to the East Coast on that map?
There we go. Yep, anywhere you want to go.
Let's go. Okay. Oh, it's the whole U.S.
I get a little confused where, like, which one's Connecticut? Which one's Rhode Island? Give me something that's not those.
Oh, Delaware.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, because that's not random. Hey, Dave, pick Delaware out of. I did.
You did?
Sussex County. There you go.
Go for it.
I called your bluff.
Okay, what is it?
That was kind of blind luck, though. Okay, Sussex County in Delaware. Earliest sunrise with no daylight saving time. So that if we stay on the time we are right now, earliest sunrise 4:36. So that blue light's going to just pour through your window at 4:36, and then your earliest sunset is going to be 4:40 p.m. That is incredible. Can you imagine 4:40 p.m. and sun's down?
So last week, we can't keep our time straight. Last year in December, I was in Miami on a sandy beach, and it was 80 degrees. I was with my daughter. It was a lovely getaway. It was perfect for the time of year because it's so cold here. You know, I was just blessed that it was 80 degrees. So fly over to Miami or Florida. It's fine. You don't have to totally map it correctly. Just give me Florida. What is Florida looking like?
All right, Florida, your extremes, not terrible. 5:30 p.m. for sunset, 5:29 a.m. for sunrise.
Okay, 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's about the time.
But if you want to stick with daylight saving time, then it's 6:30 for the sunset, 6:30 for the sunrise. That works perfectly for Florida.
So Florida has about 12 hours of daylight.
Yeah.
It sounds like. And what do we have here? About 3 hours?
Oh, for the love, Deb, I am all over this. You know what? Don't worry. I'm going to find it for you.
Because it does feel like we have about
10 hours.
10 hours here right now.
Yeah. Well, so like right now, we're looking at a sunrise right around 8 a.m. and then sunset at 5 p.m. So, that's actually 9 hours.
And the way it is right now, you were saying that Congress or the feds don't dictate daylight savings time, but the states can or
yeah,
can't?
the states can choose. They can basically make two choices. They can either stay standard, which is no daylight saving time. So every state we could all agree and pinky promise that we're all just going to stay on daylight, on standard time, which is what we're on right now. And we don't need to do anything. Like everyone can just do that. The problem is if you want to say stay on daylight saving time, then you've got to move mountains. That's the one that
so standard is simple.
Standard is simple. We could all move to that tomorrow.
And we would get what we have now.
Yes.
And so the kids could walk to school without a flashlight or a headlamp.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I think I like lots of daylight in the summer. That's for sure.
Aren't you a little greedy if you're getting daylight at 9:02 p.m.? Like that's greedy. That's totally greedy.
I don't see it the same way.
Eat your 8:02 meal, at sunset. That's fine. I don't see any justification why you need 9 o'clock sunset.
So you feel like we should stay on standard time?
Yeah, let's just go standard time.
Well,
let the kids walk to school with some sun rays.
So I feel like when we talk about time, we have wasted a lot of time talking about this over the years. Like nothing ever changes. It has become the conversation to nowhere. Nothing happens. We get excited that something's going to happen. We think somebody somewhere in some state house is going to drop the gavel and poof, daylight saving time is going to go away or standard time is going to go, whatever. Nothing happens. We have had the awesome thing about this conversation is the only new thing we've had is that map you found. We've had the same conversation over and over.
Elon's going to fix it.
You think so?
Don't worry about it. Elon's going to fix it for sure.
What makes you say that?
It's a hope. It's a fingers crossed. If Doge is on it, Doge is going to get things done.
Straight ahead, just read this morning that actor Jim Carrey is coming out of retirement. I mean, maybe you're like, no, who cares? Well, here's why I care about this. He has admitted, the Grinch.
With his coat and his hat, I look just like St. Nick.
Has admitted he needs the money. He's coming out of retirement because he needs the money. How does this happen? And it's not just him. Next.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. Hasn't been a great month in terms of snow in the Salt Lake Valley. So far this month, the snow total for Salt Lake is exactly 0. KSL Chief Meteorologist Kevin Eubank says on average, we would have had a half an inch of rain and 4 inches of snow.
The same period of time, December 1st to the 11th, back just a year ago, we'd received 3/4 of an inch of rain and 2 inches of snow. You go back 2 years ago, we had 0.81 inches of precipitation and almost 7 inches of snow.
Kevin says there's still a chance the last half of the month will be able to make up for the first half. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Growing calls for transparency from U.S. government officials after numerous drone sightings around New Jersey. Senator Cory Booker answering questions on Capitol Hill, saying he's very concerned.
I've been a little frustrated. There hasn't been enough transparency, letting people know what's happening. It's allowing a lot of potentially misinformation to spread, or at least fear.
At least one other member of Congress from New Jersey claims the drones are launched by an Iranian ship off the Atlantic coast, something that the military has denied. Your money at this moment. The Dow Jones average is down 67 points right now. The NASDAQ is down 53. Our KSL weather. The clouds are going to stick around and we'll see a chance of rain or snow coming up. KSL News Time, 10:32.
News doesn't just mean information or dates.
It's the story of our local history being told in real time.
Be a part of the story. This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
If something happens with your garage door, do you know who to call? Do you know who to reach out to? Or are you just going to be Googling on your phone? Because we got someone for you. Advanced Garage Doors.
Yeah, it was so awesome about Advanced Garage Doors is they're there for you when you are in a jam or your garage door is jammed. Certified technicians available 24/7 with same-day service.
And any garage door or motor that is installed by Advanced Door, they're going to include a free inspection and tune-up once a year. This makes so much sense to actually tune your garage door up, make sure it's balanced, make sure everything's rolling along just fine. They'll put the grease in there. They can take care of all of that stuff.
I don't think there's a bigger change that you can make to the front of your home than putting on a new garage door, upgrading it. It's beautiful. It's the color you want. It just makes your home look so sweet. It gives it that curb appeal it needs. And you can do that. You can actually go on their website and design your garage door.
Yeah, financing is available. They've got all sorts of expertise. Do you have any idea how many cycles that you put onto your? They have all that information. They put in garage doors that are good for 200,000 cycle rollers is what they call it.
Up and down,
rolling
up
up
and
and
down.
down,
Yep.
200,000. So make sure you reach out to Advanced Garage Doors. That's advanced-door.com.
Or you can give them a call, 801-252-5977. Again, 801-252-5977.
Les Olson IT is now a Rico Graphic Arts and Production Systems dealer. Rico chose Les Olson because of our reputation for superior service and national recognition. Les Olson IT chose Rico Graphics because they're the best value compared to other commercial-grade printers. Rico excels in high volume, high speed, high resolution, and offers an exciting fifth color. Learn more at lesolson.com.
Les Olson IT.
If you've been listening to me for a while, then you know how excited I've been to have let go of 70 pounds of fat weight in just 5 months, thanks to help from my friends at Sota Weight Loss. It was simple, straightforward, no injections, no drugs, and no crazy exercises. Sota clients like me lose our weight naturally, and we keep it off because they equip us with the tools we need to live a healthy, happy life. And get this is an amazing deal right now this month. Get 2 transformations for the price of 1 with Sota's buy one, get one during the month of December. Lose weight together. It's the best way to do it. Make it a team effort. Start your 2025 off right with a partner. Double the results, half the cost. They've never made this offer before, and you only have a limited time to take advantage of it. It's so much easier when you're not alone. So go to SotaWeightLoss.com to get started now. That's SotaWeightLoss.com, because Sota Weight Loss is, say it with me, state of the art.
Traffic and weather together are brought to you by Sinclair. Save on every gallon with the DinoPay app. And here's Heather Kelly.
We still have delays northbound I-15 as you leave American Fork and head up to 2100 North Exit in Lehigh. It's due to a multi-vehicle crash blocking the right lane and shoulder, and a lot of that involves some construction vehicles along with just other cars. So everybody's slowing down as they have to move over to the left. That's the only slowing I see, though, if you're on I-15 throughout Utah, Salt Lake, and Davis counties. The east and west side belt routes are in good shape, as well as going through Parley's Canyon. The UACPA supports certified public accountants in Utah through ongoing professional education and leadership development. Find a CPA that works for you, uacpa.org. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy today with a high around 47, and more clouds tomorrow with a chance of rain or snow. And right now 38 degrees and partly cloudy skies. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
Let's go right on the money. And let's begin with actor Jim Carrey. You know him from...
With his coat and his hat, I look just like St. Nick.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
He's coming out of retirement. You might be saying, I didn't even know he retired, Deb. Well, he did. In 2022, he announced his retirement. I thought, you're too young to retire. Well, turns out I was probably half right. He's coming out of retirement. He's admitted he needs the money.
$300 million, Deb. That's what his fortune is worth. $300 million, and he's like, coming out of retirement, I need the cash. I've only made $300 million.
You know, here's the thing. I worry that these actors and you know more about pro athletes. I think they stand the potential to run out of money. You get so much of a payday when they sign a contract for a movie or they sign a contract with a pro sports team, and then they don't know how to manage it. I'm not saying that that's Jim Carrey's specific situation, but it's not just him. We're going to go over the list of actors who have either had to come out of retirement or who have admitted they just are just low on funds. And I understand, Dave, our definition of low on funds is probably not going to match their definition of low on funds. We live within our means, most of us. Not all of us, but most of us. The thing is this is so way out. I wouldn't even know what $300 million looks like, but I don't think he's saying, I still have $300 million in the bank and I need to come back to work.
Well, there's a few things, and I can speak to it from a professional athlete standpoint because having worked in sports for, almost 2 decades, I know very well. I've talked to athletes about the financial struggles, and there was a great documentary that was done by ESPN years ago. It was called Broke, and it said that 70% of professional athletes experience financial hardships shortly after retirement. Within 2 years, they are either bankrupt or experiencing financial hardships. And there were several reasons for this. And I think it absolutely applies. Same stuff applies to actors. You're famous, you make huge amounts of money for short periods of time, right? So you could maybe do one movie, Jim Carrey, and be paid $25, $30, $40 million for, he's an A-lister, he's one of the biggest stars on the planet. So he'll make $30, $40 million. But then he maybe doesn't have to work for 2 years when you make that kind of money. Most actors, are not making that $40 million. So you have this huge wide variety of salaries that you're making. Athletes have the same problem. You may be LeBron James' teammate. LeBron's making $50, $60 million a year. You're a rookie and you're making $2 million a year. But guess what? You go to the same parties. You go to the same restaurants and you want to wear the same jewelry, even though you're making wildly different amounts of money.
Okay, but you say short time they make this money. Maybe athletes.
Athletes do.
Okay,
yeah.
But the first time I really became familiar with Jim Carrey was.
I can't believe we drove around all day and there's not a single job in this town. There is nothing, nada, zip.
Yeah, unless you want to work 40 hours a week.
At Dumb and Dumber. I mean, this was one of the funniest movies.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
No. That I've ever seen. I went to it with my sister-in-law. We sat in the front row, and we never laughed so hard. And we were talking about scenes from that movie years later. That was released in 1994. And this man has had so much success.
Are you in charge here?
Yes, I am. Wrong. I'm in charge.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
I'm in charge.
That just it's been what? How 1994, is that 30 years ago, Dave? 30 years ago. How many millions and millions and millions of dollars? I would hope that you would be set for retirement by, like say this Dumb and Dumber was released December 6, 1994. Let's say by December 7th, 1994, you're set for retirement.
Yeah, he made $7 million for Dumb and Dumber. And that's coming off of successes in The Mask and Ace Ventura. So
that's right.
He's made some incredible classic movies, but there's a few things that they do in the NBA, in the NFL, that they don't do for actors. And before day one, before you take one step and receive one paycheck, the NBA has an entire program where they bring all the rookies in, they sit them down, and they put them through a financial boot camp. And they say, they go through, don't invest in this, don't invest in this, don't do this. And they give them the list. It's like, you're not getting tickets for your entire family when they come into town to go to a game. You're not paying for it at the Super Bowl. You're not flying them around. They're giving them this huge list. They also give them things to work to look at. Don't invest. Two of the biggest things. Don't invest in clothing lines, and don't invest into music production.
Well, because they aren't music producers.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
that's what they
okay.
say. You are a great basketball player. If you want to, invest in a new basketball technology that you think is going to change the world, that's an expertise that you have. You are not a rapper. You're not a producer, right? This is not your expertise. So they warn athletes about this. But I know of an athlete that as soon as he wasn't making tens of millions of dollars, this is off his rookie contract, he's making a few million, went bankrupt twice within the first 6 years of being in the NBA. Because what did he invest in, Debbie? A clothing line and a music studio, right? Because they are still very young kids. Actors are a little different because they typically don't hit it big until, they've been in the business for a while.
So I'm just looking at this Business Insider report on Jim Carrey, and there's other actors that I'll give you their names in just a moment who said, I need the money. I need the money. He's got his Los Angeles mansion has been on the market for nearly 2 years. Here's another issue, right? You get involved. You get a really big home, a sprawling mansion. You pay $29 million, or he originally listed it for $29 million. It's not selling. He had to reduce the price to $19 million. He's owned that property for 30 years. So investing in these properties, even if it's your home, that is a lot of money. Now, I don't know what he originally bought it for. I don't know where the mortgage sits right now, if he has a mortgage at all. But he's had to reduce the price by $10 million, and it's just sitting there.
And that's what athletes often will do, is they'll buy these big sprawling homes. I can't help but remember the story of Carlos Boozer, who was a jazz player for a number of years. He had a home in L.A., like he's living here, he's playing here, he's got this big mansion in L.A. He rents it out to Prince. Like, that's who you can rent these homes out to. You have to. Yeah, there's very few people that can afford this, so you got to rent it out to Prince, who goes into the house, paints everything purple, completely destroys the entire house with his wild parties and purple carpet that he brings in. And Booz is like, what just happened to my multi-million-dollar home? It looks like a clown show. So now you got to sue the Prince to unpaint or paint something other than purple. So they live in a world that is just completely foreign to us. Their definition of broke isn't always the same as ours, but sometimes it is. And in athletes, in professional athlete situations, oftentimes when they say they are broke, they are legitimately broke and bankrupt.
Straight ahead, let's take live calls. What's the one piece of advice, just one piece of advice, that you would give actors like Jim Carrey or other actors or sports heroes and sports figures when it comes to money, to be better with their money? Because like I said, Dave's been talking about athletes. I've been talking about Jim Carrey. It is not just them.
Sir, you're out of order. Out of order? I show you out of order. You don't know what out of order is, Mr. Trask. I'd show you, but I'm too old.
Call us with that one piece of advice. 801-575-TALK. We'll take your calls next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Here's a trick to podcasting at work and getting all the Utah news you love.
Download the KSL News Radio app.
The podcast for Utah's morning news and Dave and Debbie are right there. Dozens of podcasts a day.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
For eligible individuals 18 and older with self-perceived mild to moderate hearing loss only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
Life without hearing aids can be frustrating.
Andy, did you hear what she just said?
No, I'm sorry. What did I miss?
I said I got the promotion, Dad. I thought you would be excited.
You're missing out on the important moments of your life because you just can't hear them. It's time to try the Jabra Enhanced Select 500, our smallest, most advanced hearing aid. With proprietary speech clarity technology, even the most complex listening situations like a noisy restaurant are crisp and clear. And you can get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional care you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. Get Jabra Enhance over-the-counter hearing aids and stop missing the important moments. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/radio. That's JABRA Enhance.com/radio. JabraEnhance.com/radio.
Join KSL and Tim and Amanda this Friday from 3 to 5 at the Salt Lake MPS store at 1600 Empire Road, mpsstore.com.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it.
Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Deck the windows with the most stunning window coverings in town. The most wonderful time is almost here, so let's turn your house into a holiday wonderland. Don't settle for boring windows. The Blind Man custom window treatments will add a touch of holiday magic to every room. Imagine soft, shimmering shades filtering the festive lights, or elegant shutters framing your holiday decor. The Blind Man window treatments can create an inviting atmosphere that will complement your style and help everyone get into the holiday spirit. Experience the magic of the holidays in comfort and style with the Blind Man's custom window coverings. Visit theblindman.com today to set up a free in-home consultation. Theblindman.com. The Blind Man.
From Ogden to St. George, Utah's premier window covering provider, The Blind Man.
It's the year-end event at Jerry Seiner Kia South Jordan. We have over 170 new Kia models priced under $30,000 during the Kia Season of New Tradition sales event. Shop Jerry Seiner Kia, the #1 Kia store in the Salt Lake Valley. That's Jerry Seiner Kia South Jordan and Salt Lake.
Based on combined in-stock inventory and Kia manufacturer sales numbers from January 2022 to December 2023 for Jerry Seiner Kia Salt Lake and Jerry Seiner Kia South Jordan combined. See dealer for more details.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, Salt Lake hasn't had any snow in the month of December. Second, a conflict over the bike lane led to a road rage incident involving a rider and a driver. And third, members of Congress from New Jersey calling for more transparency from government about a series of drone sightings. 38 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Well, it's not just Jim Carrey, actor Jim Carrey.
With his coat and his hat, I look just like St. Nick.
Who's had to come out of retirement because he doesn't have the money. He doesn't have, basically admitting that he needs the money. And he's been an actor for he's been amazing and paid well.
We drove around all day and there's not a single job in this town. There's nothing, nada, zip.
Yeah, unless you want to work 40 hours a week.
Since Dumb and Dumber was released. And even before that, you brought that up, Dave. I mean, that's the movie that I best remember him for, at least when I first got to know him, I guess, on the big screen. 1994, that was released. And it's not just him either. You brought up that it's also athletes.
Athletes are notorious. In fact, 70% of athletes, according to ESPN, 70% of athletes are either bankrupt or have serious financial struggles just 2 years after their retirement. And oftentimes these athletes are retiring in their 20s. They make life-changing money, and this is something they tell athletes all the time. You have to understand, your highest earning years are in your 20s. Sometimes if you're a superstar, you can stretch that out into your 30s, a little bit of your 30s. But for the most of us, our highest earning years are in our 40s and 50s. Mm-hmm. It's not in our 20s. So when we start making the most money that, our highest earning years, we have experience, we have knowledge, we have wisdom. Imagine if you were making the most amount of money you will ever make and you're 22 years old. That is brutally inefficient.
It's actor Al Pacino as well.
Sir, you're out of order. Out of order? I show you out of order. You don't know what out of order is, Mr. Trask. I'd show you, but I'm too old.
He returned to acting. He quit in the mid-1980s. That was him in Scent of a Woman. Quit in the mid-'80s, according to this Business Insider report. Returned after financial difficulties. He had only $90,000 left. They also report Hugh Grant actor Hugh Grant, Nicolas Cage. I've heard of that, before.
Ponzi scheme for Nicolas Cage. He was part of the Bernie Madoff stuff.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So investment.
Yeah.
Yeah. An investment gone way bad. Well, what he thought was an investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ponzi schemes.
Yeah. Harrison Ford. That one surprised me.
Oh, really?
That one surprised me.
Han Solo.
What's your one piece of advice that you would give any of these actors or professional athletes about money? I think we look at them and think, oh, they must have it all together. They're multi-millionaire.
Right.
And they have hundreds, or their net worth on the internet says they're worth a ton of money. I actually looked up my net worth on the internet one day. I just
does it tell you?
Oh, I just want to know. You're going to laugh. Let me tell you what I found out. You're going to laugh. I just thought, because we were talking about net worth and stuff like that. And so I thought, I'm just going to Google my name and put in the word, and put in net worth. And some random website pops up and said I was worth like $15 million.
Nice. Congrats. Congrats, Deb. You're buying lunch today.
I'm just going to leave that right there. I'm not going to.
Let it live out there.
I'm not going to, bot chat with this website and tell me, I think you got the wrong Debbie Dujanovic. You got it wrong. 801-575-TALK. What's your one piece of advice? Dave, you start.
Be Post Malone.
Oh.
Come live in
Posty.
Utah. Yeah, you don't want to live in L.A. You don't want to live in New York. Go live in Park City, right? Go buy a home. And then when you have work, or if you are traveling, then go ahead, do your thing when you're active. But otherwise, go try to live a semi-normal life. Because if you're living in L.A. and you're living in the beachfront property and you're trying to keep up with the Joneses or the Kardashians or the Kanyes, you're gonna bankrupt yourself because you don't have that kind of money, right? Now, Jim Carrey is one of the A-list actors out there. He's made as much money as probably anybody not named Tom Cruise. So most famous people that have financial struggles, where do you live? L.A.
You think it's just too expensive to live there?
Well, you just get caught up in the scene. So when you're caught up in the scene, then you have to have the nicest vehicle. You have to have the nicest jewelry. If you're living in Park City and you roll out with some of your crazy outfits and the jewelry, you're going to look like a clown, right? So go live your normal life for 90% of the year. And then when you do have some of the great events, the big events, then you can splurge. But then that's when you rent it. You rent the jewelry instead of buying the jewelry.
So what's my piece of advice? That's a good one, Dave. It's never, ever, ever, ever going to be about how many millions and millions and millions of dollars you earn on one movie. It will always be about how much you spend.
Yeah.
Always. That equation, there's no wiggle room there. You can make $60,000 a year and be a multimillionaire, depending on how much you spend and how much you save, right? Or you can make $600 million a year and be dead broke because you don't know how to manage your money. And I feel, I want to add to that additionally, there is no such thing as unlimited funds. There just isn't. So you feel like you have an unlimited amount of funds. So you give your friend $1 million because they've asked for a quote unquote loan, wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
You go out and you buy your, family members all brand new cars because you want to make yourself feel good and you want to give them a little bit of something.
Let's not discourage that. But go ahead. I see where you're going.
It's just that's exactly what happens because people will come to you when they know you make a lot of money and they will become your best friend. Your family members you haven't talked to in decades will show up at your door with their hand out. You got to learn to say no.
I'll never forget the former Jazz player Derek Favors. They kind of went around and asked all the teammates and said, okay, who's the cheapest player on the team? And this is at a time when Derek Favors was making over $10 million a year. Every single Jazz player is like, D-Fave, Derek Favors, he's the cheapest guy on the team, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it's D Fave. He doesn't pay for anything. He doesn't." And they went to him and asked him. They're like, "Hey, you know you have the reputation of being the cheapest guy on the team." He's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't pay for nothing. I don't pay for anything." I guarantee you, Derek Favors still has tens of millions of dollars because it's so difficult to draw the line and say, you know what, even though I can't afford it, I'm not going to afford it because this is life-changing money. It's generational wealth. They can change not just your life, but everyone's life in your family for generations. But to your point, if you can spend it, you will spend it.
Yeah. Or somebody will help you spend it.
They will.
Yeah.
They'll find a way. New clothing line.
Straight ahead, KSL 5 television reported on this, that a man shot and killed a dog in a park in Roy. And police say, well, he was within his rights.
People are allowed to defend themselves and defend their animals as well. If there is an aggressive dog, then you are well within your right to do so.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bonas. KSL's top story this hour. University of Utah has found its new quarterback now. New Mexico's Devin Dampier is following his last offensive coordinator, Jason Beck, to Utah. Beck has just agreed to become the Utes' next offensive coordinator. Charges for a driver accused of intentionally running into a bicyclist.
Multiple witnesses tell police they saw Davin Smith arguing with a man riding a bike near Pony Express and Redwood Road. Those witnesses say Smith then intentionally swerved his vehicle into the bike lane, causing the cyclist to crash. The rider suffered neck and back injuries as well as injuries to his left leg. Smith reportedly told police he was trying to warn the bike rider to stay in his own lane and did not intend to run him off the road. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Ongoing concern about threats targeting both Democrats and Republicans in Congress. Speaking to reporters today in Washington, Republican Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina said that he, too, received a bomb threat over the weekend via email.
I don't care if they're a kid or, a bad intention. We've got to end this stuff. I don't care if it's a Democrat or Republican.
That's Senator Tom Tillis. Your money at this moment. The Dow Jones average is down on the day right now, 79 points. The NASDAQ is down 27. And our KSL weather, we've got some sunshine today, but that'll give way to clouds tomorrow and the next day. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
You know what's great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the 9s, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Tim and Amanda.
One of the big differences, I think, between reading a story online and hearing it from us, Tim, is that, you and I are allowed to share a reaction. We need to be able to say, what in the world were they thinking? So that people listening will know. We feel it too. When we read a story that sounds ridiculous, we're right with you. It sounds ridiculous.
Well, we get caught up, I'm sure just like our listeners do sometimes, in death scrolling on social media.
Yeah.
And fact checking it on your own is tough. The great thing about tuning in every morning and starting your morning with us on KSL is you can count on the fact that when that information comes out of the radio in your direction, it comes from reliable sources.
It's already been fact-checked.
Right. And that's not always easy when you're getting it online. Finding who wrote it, when was it written, has it been updated with the current facts of the day that change sometimes minute to minute, not just day to day.
Utah's Morning News between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair. Save on every gallon with the DinoPay app. And here's Heather Kelly.
We still have a crash in the cleanup stages northbound I-15 before you get to 2100 North in Lehigh. Still blocking the right lane and shoulder. Involved a couple of construction vehicles and several other cars. So that has traffic backed up almost to Main Street. The good news is that's really the only issue you've got on the major roadways across the Wasatch Front. Most of the city streets are in good shape as well, especially in the Salt Lake Valley. So you shouldn't have too many issues getting to where you need to go. Select dates through December 24th. Stop by the Entertainment Plaza at Jordan Landing Shopping Center to get a photo with Santa. Visit jordanlanding.com for details. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy today with a high of 47. And more clouds tomorrow with a chance of rain or snow. And right now it's 41 degrees and mostly cloudy. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
KSL 5 Television has been reporting on this story where in the city of Roy, police say a man was within his rights when he shot and killed a woman's dog in a park.
This is such a fascinating story to me, Debbie, because, and I think Shelby Lofton with KSL TV is going to help walk us through, but I don't think a lot of us know what our rights are when it comes to animals. And if an animal is acting aggressively, do they have to bite you before you can defend yourself? Does aggressive barking or nipping at you, does that count? I was actually quite surprised to see that the Roy police said, hey, this man shot and killed a woman's dog, and he was totally within his rights.
Another dog that was off leash came up aggressively and was being aggressive and attacking his dog. But I believe it was something to the effect of, you need to come get your dog. People are allowed to defend themselves and defend their animals as well. If there is an aggressive dog, then you are well within your right to do so.
So Shelby Lofton is on the line with us. Shelby, thank you so much for calling in. It was my understanding that this involved a German Shepherd mix that approached a man's service dog pretty aggressively.
That's right. We spoke with the owner just minutes really after this whole altercation wrapped up, and she told us her German Shepherd mix, Ruby, was the one who was shot and killed. But she also had her other dog, Josie, with her by her side.
So how did the dog Ruby get loose, or was she off leash?
So Nina is the name of her owner. Nina and her mom, Ingrid, were out walking at West Park in Roy. And Nina's mom said she was originally holding Ruby on a leash. Ruby saw the other dog, got excited, and pulled too hard, and Ingrid let go of that leash. So she was technically on a leash, but she wasn't being controlled by a human, which I clarified with police. I said, does it make a difference if she had a leash on or not? They said, no, in this city, you must be controlled. Your animal must be controlled by its owner or a human.
Okay. I'm going to play the clip of your interview with Nina and her mom, Ingrid.
Ruby got away. She's a friendly dog. She was just being friendly, wagging her tail, excited. And from that moment on, pop.
He said leave it. He didn't even give a pause long enough for her to respond to that.
He hears us calling her name. He hears us saying, come.
It did seem like an appropriate response out of a park in a walking area where everyone is trafficking, and usually with dogs.
Now, at these parks, is there a place where these dogs can be off leash, or do they have to be on leash at all times?
Not that I'm aware of at this particular park. This was West Park, and as far as I know, it's not designated as a dog park, so your animal must be on leash. In fact, the police officer for Roy City told me it is a crime in Roy to have your dog unsecured.
So Shelby, walk us through, because Nina and Ingrid, it sounds like they really felt like their dog wasn't even given much of a chance before Ruby was shot. Walk us through that part of the story.
Sure. So they told us that Ruby is a friendly dog. She's well socialized. They take her out for walks all the time. She pulled when she got excited seeing another dog who was with that man who was involved, and they let her go. But they said she wasn't lunging. They said she wasn't barking, and she wasn't growling. They do not believe she was expressing aggressive behaviors. And they claimed that they were making a clear effort to go after her. Ruby, stop. Ruby, come. Verbally running. They were running toward her and verbally trying to get her back. They said they heard the other dog owner say, leave it, once. And within no time at all, they claimed that he had pulled out his firearm and had shot Ruby, and that's when she died. We made every effort to reach out to that other owner because, of course, we wanted to get his side of the story as well. But police are not releasing his name, and we do not know who he is. So we are missing that part of the story.
So how did police explain to you, or how they justified this man's actions for shooting the dog?
Police told me that if you feel that yourself or your animal is being threatened, you have every right to defend yourself. And again, in Roy City, if your animal is unsecured, it's a crime. And so they said this man was well within his rights to first issue a verbal warning. They said he did that in the report. And then he was within his rights to defend himself, shooting and killing this animal. That's how they explained it to me. Police told me they immediately elevated this case to the city prosecutor because they know when it comes to animals, it's a divisive issue, right? People are going to feel strongly either way, all ways. They elevated it, and the prosecutor decided that no charges would be filed for either party based on the evidence and the statements they got on scene.
Okay, so it sounds like at this point that this case is closed. Shelby, is
It's
that okay?
closed.
Okay.
Yeah, closed the day it happened.
Oh, okay. Well, Shelby, thank you so much. Shelby Lofton, KSL5 Television. You can see more of this story at ksltv.com. What is your reaction to that?
Very interesting, because I guess when I think if somebody is off leash, they literally do not have a leash. But this dog did have a leash on. But it's not so much the fact that they have a leash. It's you have to have control of your animal. And how many times have we seen this where a dog is kind of pulling their owner? You know, the dogs are strong enough that they can.
I always say, who's
free.
walking who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to describe it.
And I mention that to people, too, when I'm walking. I'm not all the time. I'm not that girl. But I will say, oh, who's walking who?
It does.
Like maybe a little training. I'm not saying in this case. I'm not.
Right.
But when I walk around, I see people, and it's like the dog's dragging them. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because you got to be able to control your dog.
And I don't think a lot of people realize how powerful animals are, because as I was looking at this dog, it was not a huge dog, right? This wasn't a Saint Bernard or Great Dane, a huge dog like that. But dogs are extremely powerful, and if you're not able to control them with a leash, what can you do? Like, how do you control them if they are physically stronger than you are and more powerful?
So I want to just talk about being the person that the dog is coming after, and two totally unrelated incidents. One happened when I was a child when I was walking with my sister, and we were just walking to our middle school from home because I had softball practice, and she's my little sister. I was taking her with me, so. I'm in middle school. What am I, 12 years old? She's younger than me. We're young, but we're walking. And it's like, this is the 70s, guys, right? Kids walked everywhere in the 70s. And somebody opens their front door, and we are past this house. Like, we are just scurrying along so I can get to practice on time. And a dog out of nowhere comes charging and bites her. Like, it was the scariest thing for her, For me, no cell phones back then. Here we are, late afternoon, trying to get to the school for practice. For some reason, I don't remember how we ended up getting through that, to be honest with you. If I sat here and told you, then we walked to the school and I don't remember all of that, how that unfolded. That I, to this day, remember everything about that. And I'm obviously so scared that what if this dog continued to so that was one incident. She was okay, but not okay, right? She's got a dog bite.
Yeah.
And then you got to worry about, well, is that dog vaccinated, and all the other things that come with that. The second incident that I'm going to talk about happened recently when I was walking my dog Riley, who's since left this world for another reason. He grew ill like dogs do, and he passed away. Riley and I were out walking around our community, and he's leashed, and I hold on to him. And that dog, man, he was a good dog. I lucked out when I rescued him, and he's a blue heeler mix. I think we finally determined he's a blue heeler mix. So here, this guy is throwing a ball with his dog or something in the area. We come around the corner, right? And then you walk into this, and you're like, oh no, here's this dog off leash, a big, strong dog. Don't remember the breed exactly, but this dog is big. And this dog comes charging right at Riley, gets Riley's neck.
Oh, wow.
I've got Riley on leash, very tight. He's right at my feet. And I have somebody else's dog attacking my dog. And I am like, what
do you do?
Right.
Right. You can't do anything.
Well, and then I'm thinking, well, my dog's now trying to defend himself and me, likely. I mean, it's a smart dog. And I got this. And this guy, this dog owner, comes running across this open field, scoops up his dog. I don't know how he did this, because this dog has got to be, 75-pound dog. He scoops this dog up while he's running and runs off. And I'm just...
wow.
Why?
And you're just left there in shock.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking, I'm shaking. I'm shaking out of fear, right? I mean, it's just, it's
extremely
a peaceful
dangerous
evening walk that turned into complete chaos for us. Now, my Riley was okay, but what I'm saying is that I guess I don't know what's going to end up happening in that moment. I'm kind of at a loss, and I'm hoping that everything turns out okay for not only my dog, but for this guy's dog. And I was fearful in the moment that dog would have turned on me. These are all the things that were going through my mind, and it ended up being okay. And to be honest, we got home and Riley wasn't hurt. I don't know how. He wasn't hurt. He didn't need to be whisked off to the vet. So from that perspective, that's my perspective of what I've been through in the past when a dog gets away from its owner and then comes charging. And I've had other situations where a dog has gotten away. I've watched dogs, and everything is just, it's a sweet dog and everything's fine. But those are two really pretty frightening moments in my life.
And the problem is you don't know that the other dog is a good dog or a nice dog, or that they don't mean, it's hard for you as a strange animal, an unknown animal comes up and is acting aggressively in your opinion. You don't know that they don't bite, right? And we always project our best feelings toward our own animals. But yeah, it was interesting to learn that here in Roy, and I'd be interested how this is across the state, but that Roy police said the man was within his rights to shoot and kill this dog that acted aggressively, in his opinion, to him and his dog.
Dave and Dujanovic.
A lot of us are filling our workdays with podcasts.
When you're working, go to KSLNewsRadio.com.
Click on Dave and Debbie's podcast and pick a topic and story length.
Podcast with Dave and Debbie. Then get to work with KSL News Radio.
One of the things that I learned with Salt Lake City Fat Loss when I joined it, about 10 months ago, is I learned about my bad habits. The things that I kind of gave myself a pass on. When you start a program and you're paying for the program, so I paid for it just like you guys do, I stayed honest. I didn't cheat because I wasn't going to pay for the program and then go out there and cheat every day. So that was one of the things I learned about myself, is that it forced me into accountability. And then when I was accountable, then I got to see the results, and the results were significant. In just 60 days, so in 2 months, I lost 57 pounds because I stayed on the program. And because I stayed on the program and I was not cheating every single day, then I was seeing those big results. With Salt Lake City Fat Loss, many people have lost 20, 30 pounds in just a month or two. And it really is not as hard as you think it is. I built it up in my head. I thought it was going to be so incredibly difficult, but it really was easier than I thought. Go ahead and try it. Reach out to them. Salt Lake City Fat Loss is offering a great deal during the holidays, 20% off. All you have to do is reach out to them. slcfatloss.com is the website, slcfatloss.com.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
A house explosion this afternoon.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
Basketball season is back. With Jazz Plus, you can watch games live from your TV, computer, tablet, or phone. So don't miss any of the action when you're at home or away. Can't get enough of your favorite team? Go behind the scenes and see what the team is up to on and off the court. With flexible plans, you can choose what works for you. From full season to monthly, or just pick a single game you want to watch. Sign up and subscribe today at UtahJazzPlus.com.
It's a new chapter for energy in your community. Dominion Energy is now Enbridge Gas in Utah, Wyoming, and Idaho. With 175 years experience delivering reliable energy, we're pleased to welcome customers formerly served by Dominion Energy to our Enbridge family. While the name of your gas company has changed, we remain your first choice for affordable natural gas. For more information, visit enbridgegas.com. That's ENBRIDGE gas.com. Tomorrow is on.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This holiday season, give the gift of joy with Mrs. Kavanaugh's chocolates. Imagine the delight on your loved ones' faces as they unwrap a box of their handcrafted gourmet chocolates. From creamy caramels to chocolate-covered treats, each piece is made with love and the finest ingredients. Family owned for over 60 years, Mrs. Kavanaugh's offers a tradition of quality and care. Whether it's their famous chocolate-covered nuts or their decadent fudge, Mrs. Kavanaugh's has something to make every holiday moment sweeter. Find the perfect gifts this year for your family, friends, and employees at MrsKavanaughs.com or visit their retail store to explore their holiday specials and delicious corporate gifts. Order now and make the season unforgettable with the magic of Mrs. Kavanaugh's chocolates, where every bite is a memory. Share the sweetness.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bonas. First, with two quarterbacks leaving the University of Utah through the transfer portal, there's one coming in who could be a starter for the Utes. Second, a Republican U.S. Senator says something's got to be done about anonymous death threats targeting members of Congress. And third, new rules could save Americans millions in overdraft fees. 41 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave, and Dujanovic.
When is the last time you've heard a United States Senator, a U.S. Senator, talking about concerns about 6-foot mysterious big drones flying over his home state?
I'm concerned. There hasn't been enough transparency, letting people know what's happening. It's allowing a lot of potentially misinformation to spread, or at least fear. We should know what's going on over our skies, and I've asked for a lot more information.
This is happening in New Jersey, and it has spun up into a big news story.
What is going on with the drones? I mean, there are so many drones right now, and especially on the East Coast, for some reason, they've got these huge drones that are popping up everywhere, that are flying around, and nobody's admitting that they're theirs. Government saying, nope, not ours. Hobbyists, not ours. No one's saying, yep, that's my ginormous car-sized drone flying through the air.
These things, Dave, how tall are you?
6'6".
Okay, these things are almost as tall as you are. Like if you lay down on the ground right now, it would be almost the wingspan would be almost as long as tall as you are, 6 feet in diameter.
Yeah, those are huge.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And nobody seems to know what in the world is going on. How many? Joe Khalil, Washington correspondent for News Nation. How many? Do you have any idea how many of these 6 feet big old drones are flying around New Jersey?
Well, I've heard that some accounts there are even bigger than that. We're talking about the size of Suburbans, even. So it is obviously concerning. And in terms of the numbers, I mean, over the weekend alone, I think New Jersey recorded something like 40 different sightings that they verified. Now, some of those we're told might be repeats, like 2 different people see the same thing and report it in different locations, But, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of intrigue around these things and a lot of sightings.
So is there a running guess of what's going on right now? Because immediately I think, well, it started with a hot air balloon from China, and now they've moved on to Suburban-sized drones. Do we have any idea where they're coming from?
I mean, that's the conventional wisdom, right, that this is probably an adversary trying to spy. But the thing is, the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, is saying they have no evidence showing or suggesting at all that these things are an adversary. That's the Pentagon talking. Now, that is in itself very concerning because if not a foreign adversary, and we know that it's not us, what is it? Now, here's the crazy thing, too. I've been on Capitol Hill for a couple years now, and you can talk to a lot of lawmakers, senators, House members who have, high-level intelligence on, certain committees. They know things that the public doesn't. And often I can tell, I get a sense when you're asking the question, they know what it is, but they can't share information with me. I respect that. I don't love it, but you can understand why in some cases things are classified and all that.
Yeah.
I do not get that sense right now. I don't get the sense that they know and are not saying it. I get the sense they genuinely don't know. And when I talk to some high-level senators on the Intelligence Committee, they are saying things like, the origin of these things are still, after all this time, unknown, and the FBI does not know where they're coming from and what their intended purpose is. That in itself is very concerning.
So, Joe, I'm looking at, I think it's an AP article here that the FBI is requesting public information on it.
Yeah, again, just a suggestion that they probably are not certain.
Yeah, for sure. I was a spokesperson for the FBI for 4 years here in the Salt Lake City division. I can tell you if I put out an alert requesting public information, it's because we needed the public's help, Yeah. So that one makes me think they don't know what's going on above the skies in New Jersey. Or in the skies in New Jersey.
Lawmakers feel the same way, and that's part of the real frustration from them is they are genuinely asking the question, how do you not know? Like to the Department of Defense, to the FBI, and what comes next is why haven't we taken action so far, like bringing one of these things down, either by shooting it or I'm told we do have the capability to bring one down in other ways without actually shooting it down. So, the obvious question is why haven't we done that yet? And whether maybe the Pentagon has done that but hasn't told lawmakers or members of Congress, certainly that's possible. And I am not privy to it. Lawmakers are not privy to it. But they keep asking the Department of Defense to do that. So I still think it's unlikely, that has happened yet. And the obvious question is why hasn't that happened yet?
We're speaking with Joe Khalil, News Nation Washington correspondent. And Joe, I don't want this to turn as dark as maybe this question sounds, but one thing that we've learned after the Ukraine-Russia war is drones are being used, they're being weaponized, they're carrying explosives. So I think, you take this one step further into something dark, and if we don't know where these are coming from, we don't know what the purpose is, we don't know if they are armed or weaponized, there seems to me that there should be potentially an urgency, especially when we know that drones are being used in warfare all the time.
Yeah, it's exactly the right premise that you're setting up there. This week, there was a hearing about drones more generally, but obviously a bunch of the questions came back to this. And, we heard Congresswoman Maliotakis, who is from New York. She says her constituents are dealing with this stuff. She brought up this exact scenario and said, we don't know what these things are, but we're being told, don't worry about it because they don't pose a threat. She said, how do we know if we don't know what they are, where they're coming from, that they don't pose a threat? And then she took the step further and said, what if one of these things is carrying a chemical weapon, for example? Now we're having a whole different conversation. So, the idea that these could be weaponized is absolutely not out of the realm of possibility. It's not a crazy notion at all. In fact, it's a pretty rational thing to be asking about and being, concerned about. That is why there's such a disconnect between, the Pentagon saying they don't appear to have any immediate threats to people on the ground, and lawmakers saying, what the hell are you talking about? Of course, we should be considering that the possibility that these are, potentially nefarious or dangerous, even if, they just seem to be flying around at this point, because we don't know what they're carrying or what they're prepping for. And that's kind of the sentiment I'm hearing over here on the Hill.
And they don't know where they're coming from or who's controlling them, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's question number one, right? Is who's doing this? Where are they coming from? We've heard several lawmakers say and suggest in that open hearing, why don't we have any military assets, whether it's the Navy or the Air Force, just following these things back to an origin? Like, presumably they're coming from somewhere. They seem to be coming from the ocean. So are they docking on a ship somewhere? Why don't we have a plane that follows them to their source, to wherever they're going? And again, it's possible that is happening, and no one's telling us about it. But you have sitting members of Congress on high-level committees asking the question, why aren't we doing this? So I would presume, if they're still asking those questions, that it hasn't been done yet.
Joe, it sounds like we've got all the questions and absolutely none of the answers. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for joining us, Joe Khalil, News Nation's Washington correspondent.
Yeah, 6-foot drones flying over New Jersey, but Joe just said, no, some of them are as large as Suburbans.
One of the things, just quickly, he talked about there's other ways to get the drones that maybe isn't just shooting them out of the sky with guns. I'm looking at Brookings, and Brookings talks about, obviously, guns, nets, radio waves. There's actually a device that emits an electromagnetic field that will disrupt the GPS, so perhaps radio waves, hacking. The craziest one yet that I've heard, they've actually discussed eagles being trained to take down the drones. Can you imagine it? The American Eagle rescuing America. I love it.
It's 11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bonas. KSL's top local story this hour: the Unified Fire Authority in Salt Lake County got approval to raise property taxes by $11.4 million. The legal counsel, Rachel Anderson, says that's the only funding source for the fire service.
We're looking at about $7.77 a month for this tax increase, and obviously that could go up or down depending on the value of their property.
Unified Fire covers 11 cities and unincorporated areas of Salt Lake County. The title of tallest building in Salt Lake City now goes to the Astra Tower, located at 200 South State Street. The apartment complex stands 450 feet tall, outreaching the previous tallest building, the 422-foot Wells Fargo Center on Main Street. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Ringing the bell at the New York Stock Exchange this morning, President-elect Trump celebrated Time magazine naming him Person of the Year for a second time.
We're going to have a tremendous run. We have to straighten out some problems, some big problems in the world. When we left, we didn't have any of these problems. We didn't have Russia with Ukraine. We didn't have Israel October 7th.
Trump says the media has been tamed down a little bit since his first term. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average is down on the day right now, 112 points. The NASDAQ is down by 35. At our KSL weather, looks like the clouds are going to stick around with a chance of rain tomorrow. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:32.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
One of the things I love about Mountain Home Services, they're my new one-stop shopping for everything I need in my house.
Yeah,
they can do everything.
Yeah. So, Master Electrical teams up with Mountain Home Services, and now that means they can, fix your electrical outlets. They can put in that new recessed lighting. They can install that EV charger you need. They can look at your HVAC and make repairs to it, get you a new HVAC, and then what else, Dave?
Fireplaces.
Yeah.
They got into fireplaces. So this is the perfect time, right? I mean, you don't have a place to hang your stockings with care. You got to get a new fireplace, and Mountain Home Services can take care of that, help you pick out just the right fireplace. And because they have the expertise, as you mentioned, Debbie, with the electrical needs, your HVAC, plumbing, all of that, that just makes so much sense to be able to do the fireplaces in your home.
And it all comes with that same upfront pricing guarantee that Dave and I have been talking about for quite some time now. It means the price that they quote you in the beginning of the job is the price that you pay when the job is done, and there are no hidden fees.
Yeah, and I love the no hidden fees thing, 100% satisfaction guarantee. Go ahead and reach out to Mountain Home Services by going to their website, mountainhomeutah.com.
Or call them, 801-543-2222, 801-543-2222.
Do you hear that? These are the sounds of our jeweler's workshop at Shane Company, where they're working their magic to bring beautiful, fine jewelry gifts to life. At Shane Company, we love jewelry as much as you do, and we know what it takes to create something special. No matter your budget, we craft our jewelry with expert care to be passed down for generations. With jewelry craftsmen in every store and an unmatched free lifetime warranty, we're here to make sure your jewelry always shines bright. Stop by and shop online at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hello, car donation hotline.
Hi, I'd like to donate a car to the Utah Kidney Foundation. Are you in Utah?
Awesome. Let's get some info and we'll send you a tow truck.
But I want my car donation to benefit my neighbor in Farmington who needs a transplant. Are you in Utah?
That's a no. I'm in SoCal, but you're still donating to charity.
What charity?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, I want my donation to stay in Utah.
Righteous dude. You need to call tow cars in Utah. Locals only, am I right?
Oh, yeah. I remember tow cars with a K like kidney. It's on a billboard somewhere. TOWKARS.org. That's it. Towcars.org.
If you'd like your vehicle donation to help Utah kidney patients in the Beehive State, please use the web address on their billboard, towcars.org, to donate your old car or truck. That's TOWK like kidney, ARS. Towcars.org.
It's official. KSL Sports is your official radio home of the Utah Hockey Club. When the puck hits the ice this fall, you'll hear every goal, every check, and every tension-filled moment on the KSL Sports Zone. Plus, let your voice be heard on the Utah Hockey Club Fan Forum on KSLSports.com, your exclusive home of the NHL and the Utah Hockey Club in Utah is KSL Sports and 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair. Save on every gallon with the Dino Pay app. Here's Ricky Meese.
Right now, we have a good drive in progress on the Valley freeways. Good speeds, no accidents or delays. We do have a crash called out in Clearfield in Davis County at 650 North and Main Street, and Salt Lake City PD wrapping up a crash 2100 South at 7th West. Make your list, check it off twice. You'll be oh so nice with gifts from This Is the Place, Heritage Parks, curated collections, and international brands. Visit This Is Your Place for gifts and holiday fun. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Partly cloudy today with a high of 47. More clouds tomorrow with a chance of rain or snow. And right now, we're looking at 39 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
We just got in-house yesterday some body cam footage from police, from the Unified Police Department, that tells a story of road rage, gunfire, a police chase that has absolutely captivated Dave and I this morning. and scared me.
Your window! Keep your hands up! Passenger! Get out of the car! Okay, get over here! Hey!
And that's the moment.
Get on the ground, on your stomach. Do not move, do you understand?
Unified Police Department cops catch up with two men, they're brothers, who were in a getaway car after shots were fired at a semi-truck. And it appears this whole thing started over, looks like road rage.
Yeah, they crossed apparently 4 lanes of traffic and cut off a semi-truck. And the semi-truck, obviously, honks the horn at them. And then it sets off this entire road rage incident. And then it ends up in this 100-mile-per-hour chase where the car's trying to evade police, goes through a traffic stop, spins out, crashes into somebody, flips their car over. It really was a dramatic thing.
And in that car that got flipped over, as you said earlier, collateral damage, is a woman hanging upside down inside her car who needs to be rescued.
Okay, are you ready? Support yourself. I'm going to cut this. Oh, you got it?
Just give me a second.
Okay, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm just shaking.
I know. I'm strong. You're okay. So who's all in the vehicle?
When I hear her
Just
say,
her.
I'm just shaking.
All right,
I'm just
let's
shaking.
Come over here and have a seat for me.
Okay.
I feel for her. Like, I put myself upside down in that car.
Yeah.
And this is one of many reasons now when it comes to road rage incidents that we're reporting on. It seems like way too often. I mean, one is too many. I'm more freaked out than ever about making a wrong move on the road because I feel like it might be my last move.
Well, I don't think it's totally unfounded because we have all experienced on some level, and let's be honest, if we're looking in the mirror, we are guilty of road rage ourselves. You're telling me you've never brake checked someone? You've never sped up and kind of cut somebody off or tailgated them, right? We've all been guilty on some level of this ourselves. The thing that worries me, and maybe this has always been the case, maybe we're just doing a better job tracking what's going on recently, is how it escalates. Now, this escalated. This started off as somebody cutting off, brake checking, everyone's flipping each other off. But then when this Amazon driver pulls over, 2 men come out and they confront this driver. Well, he feels so scared that he busts out pepper spray and sprays the 2 brothers, douses them in pepper spray, and they run off. They leave. But then they come back, and that's when they open fire.
Yeah, we can see some video when we're looking at, not from the cop's body cam, but from a Ring doorbell, where you see the car drive by this semi-truck that seems to be sort of sitting, and this is in the Mill Creek area, sitting in the road there, and you hear this. And I said earlier that it appeared both of these brothers, I think I said this, that both brothers were sentenced. But I'm now looking at this further.
No, I think you're right, Deb. I think they both were sentenced.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I saw a new article that updated it.
Okay. Just looking at this other article here, I was just making sure we're accurate on that. So they've been through the court process here, charged criminally. Because the cops obviously caught him, pulled him out of the car as well, and then arrested them. They're going to prison. But in the meantime, the rest of us are left wondering, like, how often is this happening, and do I need to be afraid? And how many people are packing when they're driving? Like, if I cut off the wrong person, it was just an innocent mistake, and suddenly I'm not ever going home to my family again. So you pulled some numbers on that for us, Dave.
Yeah, we reached out to the Utah Highway Patrol this morning because we wanted to be able to give you the latest numbers. And in the last 5 months, just a little over the last 5 months, there have been 79 incidents of road rage that cops have been, and this is usually ends in some sort of crash or where the police get called. So the police arrive, they have to log what this crash involved in it, and 79 times it has been road rage in just the last 5 months and a few days. What shocked me more than anything is how many of these road rage incidents involved a gun.
Okay.
Because they tracked that as well.
Oh, all right.
And more than a third of these road rage incidents involved a gun. So if you do get in a crash and you have almost a 1 in 3 chance, or more than a 1 in 3 chance that a gun is going to be involved, to your point, how much does that change the way you feel about somebody cutting you off? Because for me right now, I'm like, go ahead. Cut me off all you want. I am not addressing it. I'm never going to get angry because it is just so dangerous.
So my behavior's changed dramatically when it comes to, like, I've got forgiveness in my soul every time I jump in the car now. Like,
Self-preservation and forgiveness in your soul.
I'll just forgive you. I'm not going to get wound up about it. I've said this many times on the show. I'm a broken record on this. Jumping on the freeway at 106 South before the sun comes up every morning, it does feel a little bit like a major Olympic competition, because you have to pull over. You have to keep pulling over several lanes before you actually end up on the freeway, or you get, nudged off onto like I-215 or 90th South or something like that. And I'm like, so it does feel a little bit like I miss my Olympic training sessions on that some mornings. And I'm like, I'm never going to. But what I've finally figured out, because I didn't really feel this way when that first started happening to me. I was like, I can't get over. Look, if I can't get over and I accidentally have to get off on 90th there, so be it. I'll just call you guys and say,
I'll get there when I get there.
I'll get there when I get there. Somebody wouldn't let me in today. I'm not going to compete for lane number 3 on the freeway, and if you want to zip your car in and out of traffic, so be it. I'll say a little prayer for you and hope everything ends well so your mama or your father or your kids don't get that sad phone call today. But I'm not going to try to compete with that anymore. That's how I've changed my behavior.
I think what I would like to see, and I think this is really the future, is where video becomes ubiquitous, right? Every car's got a dash cam. And then if somebody cuts you off, you don't need to address it right there in the moment. You have it on camera. If you want to send it to the police, that's fine. That's how we need to address this. I think technology can lower the temperature because then we don't have to seek for instant justice.
I like that idea. That's probably the best idea you've had all year.
It only took me 11 months and 12 days.
You have good ideas. That's a really good one, though. That's a really good one. Now you should go design that technology.
Unfortunately, it's already been designed. I just got to figure out a way to monetize it.
Yeah. Straight ahead, there's some research out that says that 1 in 4 people still carry weight gained during last holidays a year ago. Not us, right?
This is not a Salt Lake City fat loss commercial.
I know. Well, you've done such a good job, Dave, this year. You losing weight and on that diet that you talk about so often. So we're going to talk to Maria Chaleos next. She's the host of KSL Podcast. Let's Get Moving. She's going to join us next to talk about healthy eating during this holiday season.
Dave and Dujanovic.
You know KSL is the only news radio for your car, right?
The only news radio for your smart speaker.
Come here in the morning. It's the latest news and traffic. In the afternoon, news and updated weather.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
Hey, folks, let me tell you, when I had Connecticut of Utah come out to my house, it was because I was ready. My wife and I were ready to make the investment into a water softener, but we didn't know why we should choose Connecticut. So they were walking us through what makes Connecticut different from the other water softeners that are out there. And one of the biggest things that was a huge selling point for us is just hassle-free. Right? They came in, they installed it in a matter of hours. But at that point, we didn't have to adjust it. There were no complicated resets, computer things. It just, the way it's designed, it produces 24/7 soft water. Now, many water softeners, if you have a busy morning of dishes and showers and laundry, you can actually run out of of soft water, and then you've got to wait till typically it's 2 a.m. for the system to recharge. So you may go half the day or so without any soft water. But with Kinetico's water softener system, you just get that 24/7. It never runs out. You just have to throw a little salt in the bin. And again, because it's designed so well, it is much more efficient than the conventional water softener. You use 2/3 less salt with Kinetico. So that's going to save your back. You know, those things are kind of heavy. Make sure you reach out to Kinetico of Utah. They're an authorized Kinetico dealer, obviously. 801-576-8600. That's 801-576-8600. Or check them out online at softwaterutah.com.
Transform your old, outdated kitchen with Half Price Granite. For a limited time, Half Price Granite is offering special pricing starting at $25 per square foot installed. That's lower than most big box stores. These prices are some of the lowest around. Granite, quartz, marble, and quartzite, all starting at $25 per square foot installed. Call 801-486-1700 or visit halfpricegranite.com. Half Price Granite, affordable luxury.
From now through the end of December, earn triple points on every purchase you make with your rewards credit card from Cyprus Credit Union. That's triple the yum as you shop for your favorite holiday dishes. Triple the excitement as you fuel up to travel over the river and through the woods. And triple the satisfaction when you find that perfect gift for a loved one. Learn more about triple points or apply for your rewards credit card at cypruscu.com. Cyprus Credit Union. Your future is our future. Equal Opportunity Lender.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Febreze. So my home is also my office, and before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. One Kind Act a Day is an inspiring movement dedicated to making kindness a daily habit. By engaging individuals, organizations, and communities, it develops meaningful programs and resources that foster compassion, connection, and a more unified world. Executive Director Curtis Bennett joins us with more.
At its core, One Kind Act a Day believes that simple, intentional acts of kindness can ripple outward, creating a more compassionate and connected world. Through collaborations with schools, businesses, government agencies, religious and community organizations, One Kind Act a Day develops programs and resources that embed kindness into everyday life. These include tailor-made kindness curricula, interactive workshops, public art projects, and recognition programs such as the Certified School of Kindness and Certified City of Kindness designations. One Kind Act a Day also amplifies the impact of kindness through social campaigns, corporate partnerships, and leadership initiatives empowering participants to lead by example. By addressing societal challenges with positivity and action, One Kind Act a Day promotes a vision of unity, understanding, and shared humanity, making kindness not just an ideal, but a sustainable way of life. To learn more, visit thepowerofkind.org.
Through its innovative programs and partnerships, One Kind Act a Day turns the simple idea of kindness into meaningful action, empowering communities to embrace compassion as a way of life and inspiring lasting change in individuals, organizations, and society. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bonas. First, cities served by the Unified Fire Authority will see an $11 million tax increase next year. Second, Salt Lake's tallest building is now the Astra Tower at 200 South and State Street. And third, last year, Time Magazine's Person of the Year was Taylor Swift. This year, it's Donald Trump. 39 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Oh, bring us some figgy pudding. Oh, bring us some figgy pudding.
I don't want to bust your holiday fun, but if you eat that figgy pudding, you're going to be eating a 304-calorie dessert with 13 grams of saturated fat, 41 grams of carbohydrates.
Has anyone actually eaten figgy pudding? If anyone has actually made figgy pudding, I think it's probably Maria Chileos. She makes everything.
You know, there's a study out, Maria, that I'm sure you're well aware of, that 1 in 4 people still carry weight gain during the holidays last year. It's
Yeah,
it's such a bummer when you go through the whole year watching your weight, losing weight, and then you pack on 5 pounds over 2 weeks. Is Maria's mic on? Dawn, can you check her mic? I'm not hearing her.
My mic is not. Oh,
there we go.
There I am.
So Maria's host of KSL Podcast, Let's Get Moving. Dave, you go ahead and set this up for Maria.
I want to eat so badly.
Okay, you can eat.
Why are you trying to ruin my December?
Not. And that's absolutely not what this interview was about that I did with Lee Palmer. She's the Assistant Director and Program Manager of USU Extension's Create Better Health. What she says, Dave, is we need to be intentional. She's not saying don't eat all of your holiday favorites, because you know what happens when you say don't do that. You're going to want to eat more of them than you would eat anyway. And she says be intentional rather than restrictive. So put a bunch of healthy foods on your plate first, so you're not so likely to gorge yourself on all of those other things. And she says, there's really some misconceptions about healthy food. Let's hear what she has to say.
I think there's also this misconception that healthy food has to taste bland. And so finding dishes, I think it's important to lean into preferences and family traditions, but also thinking about modifications, whether that's modifying our portion size of maybe the less healthy options, or finding some healthy swaps. So that I think some of those culprits that sneak into our foods during the holidays are excessive amounts of sugar or high amounts of sodium, a lot of more fat on the meats that we are using during the holidays.
Okay, healthy swaps. You want those traditional favorites to taste about the same, right? She says try using half the sugar. A lot of times it will still have the same texture and flavor and you won't notice it. Try using a different kind of oil. Instead of using butter, maybe use one of the healthier oils. See how that works. Now, I'll tell you with my baklava, that'll never work because it'll make it mushy and nobody will eat it. Instead of being flaky and crispy, it won't be the same. So in that case, it's all about the portion size. So she says, don't ever go into a meal starving. Don't be starving yourself during the holidays and thinking, oh, I'm going to eat all these fattening foods later, because you just end up eating so much more of them. She says, fill your plate with some healthy things like vegetables and, a healthy protein, and then you won't be as likely to starve yourself.
Oh, I was just thinking, I do have a calorie bank. I was just like, I have a calorie bank. I save my calories. I tend to do that. I'll go hungry in the afternoon because I know I'm going out I went out to lunch the other day with my daughter, so I didn't eat much all morning long. But that's risky too, because then you end up stuffing your face with everything inside.
That's exactly what she says. Don't do that.
Can I get a second bowl of chips?
Of water.
Second bowl of chips.
I want to listen to what she has to say about forgiving ourselves when we do overeat.
Right. She says, so if you do overeat, listen up.
Okay.
First step, forgive yourself. I mean, there's no reason to just focus in on what we did or did not do during the holidays. And then just think about what your goals are. If you're wanting to be able to, I always say, go back to your why. So if I want to be more active with my kids, then I need to spend some time outside and moving and getting with my kids. And so just go back to the reason why you want to be healthy, and then just make those first steps in the new year to do so. So whether that's being active, whether that's looking at meal prepping and getting those fruits and vegetables in every day. It could be reducing that sodium or finding alternatives to food sodium.
Maria, you and I have actually both done the Salt Lake City fat loss, thing. And one of the things I learned about myself, and this was very valuable, is every meal in my life doesn't need to be an event. It doesn't need to be like,
feels
hey,
like it though, doesn't it?
It kind of does. So that was one of the things that I had to learn. There's going to be the majority of my meals in my life need to be pretty boring, right? So then when we do have an event, then I can truly enjoy it or look forward to it and say, hey, on Friday I'm going to enjoy this. and I found myself when I changed my brain, the way I think about food, where every single meal I need to have doesn't need to be the best tasting, most delicious.
So I did the opposite of you.
Really?
I made it better tasting even though it was leaner.
Okay.
If I didn't meal prep, I had a really hard time sticking to just eating chicken and broccoli. Can't do that, right? But if I made a soup with the chicken and broccoli so that it had that flavor, it really worked for me. So what Lee Palmer says is be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Don't still enjoy your favorites. Don't eat as much of them, and listen to your body.
Mm-hmm.
When your body says you're too full, stop eating. Stop eating before you get to that point.
Don't listen to your brain that's like, I love the dopamine drug.
We all love them.
We know you got to run to do the show, the newscast. But I got who grew up on bland Brussels sprouts?
Oh my goodness, so
right?
me, 100%.
Right? Steamed,
not me.
Oh, you know, Maria, you're
my
just...
mom wouldn't even eat Brussels sprouts.
Okay,
so there you have it.
So
never even heard of a Brussels sprout.
Right? And it's like it is now. We know it's a superfood, right, or something. It's just really, really good for you. Brussels
so many
sprouts
good
are really
ways
good,
to make it though. An instant.
Well, what I
pot
decided
with balsamic vinegar.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. So what I did
Roasted.
to get my kids to eat Brussels sprouts is it's like you add a little bit of bacon, you add salt, you add pepper, and
didn't
then
say anything about bacon.
Sugar-free maple syrup.
There
Sugar-free
you go.
maple. Just not a lot of bacon. It doesn't require a lot of bacon crumbles, but boy, it makes the difference. And we just gobble them up. It almost tastes like candy. You've had mine, haven't I?
No, I love well-prepared vegetables. So
it doesn't take that much more time, but you got to start
really
by air
doesn't.
fry them.
Yeah.
You start by air frying them. That's Maria Chaleos, of course, host of KSL's podcast, Let's Get Moving. And that podcast is entitled, that episode is entitled, Healthy Eating During the Holidays. Appropriately entitled, Healthy Eating During the Holidays. Love talking to Maria on that. So she's up next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.